The cold touch of virtual reality came like a tide. Luo Li opened her eyes, surrounded by the familiar hustle and bustle of Central City in era of fantasy. The air was filled with the smell of oil smoke from barbecue stalls, and the smell of coke from the blacksmith shop. Players' shouts roared like a wave. The best blue outfit. Bid at 10% discount. 3 years later, this virtual world is still so exciting, but no one recognizes her. The once retired goddess is now just a newcomer ID with a full-level reset, a gray face on the left. 1. She walked straight through the crowded square, her long hair fluttering in the wind, but she attracted ridicule from the street vendors. Hey, this girl is wearing novice civilian clothes. How dare you come to Central City? Go back to the novice village to farm goblins. A warrior in green clothes laughed, and the surrounding players echoed, their gazes sweeping over like pinpricks. Luo Li turned a blind eye, but a cold feeling surged in her heart. After retiring for 3 years, she thought she would be able to return in a low-key manner, but unexpectedly, players in this game are still so snobbish without a halo, they are just waiting to be stepped on. The door of the auction house is magnificent, with a giant crystal screen suspended at the door, scrolling to display the latest transaction. A legendary long sword, with 80 million gold coins hammered down. There were people inside and the air was hot and stuffy, mixed with the smell of sweat and excited gasps. Luo Li squeezed into the crowd and went straight to the intelligence area. A petite female player came up to her, her eyes narrowed into crescent moons. New face? What kind of treasure are you looking for? I am Xianyu auction agent. I guarantee you a bloody profit. Luo Li glanced at her and whispered. The source of experience. Rare legendary props. Record of the last auction. Xianyu's pupils shrank and her voice was as low as a whisper. Sister, your information is really good. That thing has just been put on the shelves. The starting price is 5 million, and now it has exceeded 20 million. Ye Chen's guild is eyeing it, and the president of the Sky League will personally bid the price. Novices don't join in the fun. It's easy to be used as cannon fodder. She glanced at the center of the crowd. A group of players wearing uniform blood-red cloaks were surrounding the bidding platform. The leader was Ye Chen. The sinister face flashed under the holographic light. The guild members glanced around with a grin, like a pack of hungry wolves. On the auction stage, the host NPC shouted loudly. The source of experience. Legendary props after use, the experience gain will be plus 50%. Lasting for 24 hours. Current price. 25 million gold coins. Is there a higher bid from the Sky Alliance? 26 million. A tank under Ye Chen roared, and the surrounding Sky League players echoed in unison. The sky is invincible, who dares to fight? The crowd whispered. Ye Chen wants to monopolize resources again. Who can grab this item? The number 1 guild in the Sky League left. 150 is leading the team. Newbies, stay away. The corner of Luo Li's mouth raised slightly, but she was not in a hurry to take action. She stood quietly in the corner, listening to the taunts pouring in. Look at that woman over there, left one still wants to join in the fun? Are you a has-been player? Have you retired for 3 years and you don't know it? A passerby who looked like an assassin pointed at her and laughed, and the surrounding people burst into laughter. Suppressed to the extreme, Luo Li finally raised his hand, and the system bell rang loudly throughout the audience. 30 million gold coins. Player Luo Li bids. The whole place was silent for a moment, and then a buzz of discussion broke out. Who is it? The newcomer on the left dares to shout 30 million? He is pretending to be rich. Ye Chen turned his head, his eyes were like daggers. 31 million. Little girl, the auction house is not a child's play. Go back to the novice village. The ridicule was like a torrential downpour. Haha, Brother Marvin spoke in person. Are you scared to pee? The Sky Alliance roared, and the whole server trembled. This woman is finished. She will be blocked in the door later. Luo Li said nothing and raised her hand again. 40 million. 41 million. Ye Chen gritted his teeth, veins popped up on his forehead, and his subordinates were agitated. President, fuck her. Where can this bitch get gold coins? The whole place was boiling, the players' eyes widened, beads of sweat rolled down their foreheads, and the air was filled with the smell of tense gunpowder. Xianyu grabbed Luo Li's arm, her fingers trembling. Sister, are you crazy? Guild Ye Chen has money to burn. This is courting death. 50 million. Luo Li bid for the third time, her voice as calm as water. Bang! The host NPC hammered. 55 million. Sky League increases the amount. Passers-by gasped. Oh my god, 55 million. This prop is going to break the record. Does that woman still dare? Ye Chen's eyes are killing people. Luo Li took a deep breath, and the humiliation of 3 years of retirement flashed through her mind at that time. She was framed by Ye Chen, lost her divine favor, the guild collapsed, and the entire server laughed at her. Now she clicked on her backpack and a huge sum of money was transferred. 80 million. 80 million. The whole place felt like it was struck by lightning. The host NPC's voice trembled. 80 million. Is there any higher? 1, 2, 3. Deal. Congratulations to player Luo Li. How is that possible? Ye Chen slammed the table, his face turned livid, and the surrounding members of the Sky League stared like cowbells. Counterfeit money, right? The system is checking her. The passers-by players opened their mouths wide, almost dripping with saliva. 80 million. Kill the Sky League in one hit? Who is this woman? A mage rubbed his eyes and murmured. Am I right? The newcomer on the left smashed 80 million. And Ye Chen's face turned green. Xinyu's legs went weak and she grabbed Luo Li. You? Where did you get this money? Only the top tycoons in the server can get it. The prop fell into the backpack and Luo Li used it on the spot. Golden light flashed, and the system announced loudly across the server. Ding! Player Luo Li uses the legendary item Source of Experience, and the experience gain is plus 100%. The hidden mechanism is triggered. The buff is superimposed successfully, and the current total buff is 200%. What? In the auction house, the player's breathing stopped. The experience bar all over Luo Li's body jumped crazily. Left point 1, left point 5, left point 10. Ding! Congratulations to player Luo Li for rising to level 11. All attributes exploded. 200% light yellow. Is this the legendary superposition mechanism? Xinu screamed, her voice trembling like chaff, and her eyes widening as if they were about to fall out. Impossible! The Source of Experience is rare. Superimposing 100%? Your level has increased by 10. The only one in the whole server. Passers-by went crazy and screamed. Look at her dashboard. The attack power is over 10,000. Novice equipment plus divine buff. This operation. An archer knelt down and said, Goddess, is this Luo Li, who has retired for 3 years? The legendary queen of favored gods. Ye Chen clenched his fists and smiled sinisterly. Luo Li? So it's you, bitch. Brothers, remember her ID and keep an eye on her. Luo Li ignored the commotion and pulled Xinu, who was still shaking, to leave the auction house. Outside Central City, the setting sun spilled down the stone road like blood. She asked in a low voice. Is it true that the buffs are infinitely stacked? Xinu breathed heavily, her face as pale as paper. Really, really? Only an intelligence report like me knows the secret. The Source of Experience can trigger a chain, and each item of the same type is superimposed once, with no upper limit. But this is the only one in the whole server, and you are already one step ahead. But Ye Chen is eyeing you. Sky League spies are everywhere. Be careful to encircle and suppress. Luo Li nodded and summoned the pet pen. Xiaobai, the snow-white fox cub, jumped out of the light ball with its furry body, rubbed her legs coquettishly, and made a soft cry. Oh, after 3 years of not seeing each other, it was still affectionate, with a blue light shining in its eyes. Go to Novice Village for a trial first, gain some experience and stabilize the buff. Luo Li touched Xiaobai and stepped onto the teleportation array. With a flash of green light, she appeared in the dark forest on the outskirts of Novice Village. The shadows of the trees were whirling, and the moist smell of rotten leaves hit her nostrils. The green-skinned monster's roar could be faintly heard from the goblin camp. As soon as she took a step, Xiaobai pounced out. With a flash of claws, she killed a level 5 goblin instantly. Ding! Experience X 200%. Get double drops. Luo Li's panel skyrocketed. Left point 1112. While he was refreshingly clearing monsters, there was a rustle in the woods behind him. An invisible assassin appeared, his blood-red cloak revealing his identity. Hey Luo Li, Hello from the Sky Alliance. President Ye Chen invites you. More black shadows surrounded him from all directions, including a dozen LV-100 Sky Dome spies, their weapons flashing with cold light. Luo Li narrowed her eyes, Xiaobai growled, and his hair stood on end. The air is filled with murderous aura. And the teleportation array flashes in the distance reinforcements? Ye Chen's guild siege is about to break out. In the shadows of the trees, blood-red cloaks swayed like ghosts, and a dozen LV-100 figures sprang out of the mist. The cold light of the dagger reflected the remaining blood of the setting sun, and the pungent smell of rust mixed with the moldy dampness of rotten leaves hit his face. The leading assassin licked his lips with a sinister smile. Luo Li, President Ye Chen said that our Sky Alliance will decide on your 80 million source of experience. Brothers, go ahead. Block the output position, use the tank as a favorite, and use the magic system to focus on her body. The surrounding goblin camps were cleared instantly, green-skinned corpses lay everywhere, and the smell of blood filled the air. Luo Li's steps paused slightly, her little white hair exploded, and her low roar rolled like thunder. Ouch! The players' taunts rained down like arrows. Left. 12 novice commoner, no matter how good the buff is, he can't hold us back. RLV. 100 group is wiped out. Xiao White Fox? What a second goblin. Come and try our shadow combo. A heavy armored tank raised its shield in front of it. The shield was engraved with +15 strengthening runes. The sound of hitting the ground made the fallen leaves fly. The surrounding assassins were approaching invisibly, and the poisonous light of their daggers flickered. Luo Li's eyes were cold, and 3 years of humiliation flashed through her mind. Ye Chen used this trick to block her and force her to give up her favor and retire. Suppressed to the extreme, she flicked her fingers, and the system prompts sounded like electric current flowing through her nerves. Pet command. Bite wildly. Xiaobai's figure flashed, the snow-white fur ball turned into an afterimage, the claws tore the air, and the tank shield that bore the brunt of the attack shattered with a click, and the health bar dropped by 30%. Bite. Tank's eyes widened and he grunted. How is it possible? A newbie loves my shield for a second? Has the attack power exceeded 12,000? Before he finished speaking, 2 assassins rushed from the flanks. The moment the invisibility was released, Xiao Baiweiba swept out the whirlwind, the poisonous dagger broke, and the 2 of them fell to the ground with all their health bars. Ding! Kill level 100 Sky Assassin X2. Experience explosion plus 800%. Raised to level 15. All attributes plus 500 points. The audience gasped and the remaining spies retreated with weak legs, and their weapons clinked to the ground. Monster! Is this buff stacking a bug? Just 0.15 left and the panel crushed our entire group. A mage trembled and chanted the fireball, but Luo Li sidestepped and dodged, her clothes fluttered, and she backhanded a basic wind blade with the buff. The wind blade was like a tornado, tearing the mage's robes and 70% of the health bar evaporated. Ah! Her operation. Predicted dodge for 0.1 seconds. DPS exceeded 20,000. The mage screamed and fell to the ground, the body was smoking, and the burnt smell was pungent. Luo Li ignored the noise and stroked Xiaobai's head. Continue brushing and stabilize the level. She took a deep breath of the moist air of the forest, and accelerated her steps into the depths of the goblin camp. The group of green-skinned monsters roared and rushed towards them. Their axes whistling, Xiaobai shuttled like a white shadow. Each claw hit the vital point. Ding! Kill the LV.10 Goblin King X1. Experience plus 1,600%. Raised to LV.20. Attack power 25,000. Critical hit rate 80%. Experience. The bar was beating like crazy. Like rockets, and individual players were chasing after them. Their eyes were as wide as copper bells. Look at the panel. Left. 20 novice outfit, but it has epic DPS? The buff stacking is too abnormal. We only level 1 after 1 day of grinding, but she leveled up to 8 seconds. In less than a minute, corpses of more than a dozen spies littered the field. Xiaobai returned from licking his paws and nuzzling Luo Li's legs to act coquettishly. The system announcement flashed across the regional channel in a low-key manner. Ding! Player Luo Li killed the Sky Alliance spies team, and his record is on the list. By the woods in the distance, the passing Sanren players rubbed their eyes and stood dumbfounded. and an archer murmured. The Sky Vault level 100 group was wiped out by the level 15 newcomer Beast group. This fox panel has an agility of over 3,000. She is the queen of DPS. Another priest knelt on his knees, his voice trembling. The goddess has arrived. Luo Li, who has retired for 3 years. The only 200% buff holder in the entire server. Luo Li raised her lips slightly and replied. Nuan Nuan, it's me. Come to the dark forest of Novice Village and form a team to defeat the hidden boss. With a flash of green light, Su Nuan arrived via teleport, wearing a +20 pet controller robe, with skill books hanging around her waist, a fiery red phoenix hovering over her shoulders, and a wave of heat hitting her face. She rushed forward and hugged Luo Li with tears in her eyes. Sister, I missed you every day after you retired. That time Ye Chen framed you for losing the divine pet. I was so angry that I smashed the keyboard. Now look at your dashboard, the experience buff is 200%, and Xiaobai is about to evolve. Come, I will teach you the rare skill Pet Affinity LV5, which will permanently increase pet intimacy by 100%, and the skill transfer rate plus 50%. Amid the buzzing discussion, a private chat ringtone rang, and a friend request popped up on the system interface. Su Nuan. Sister Li. Is it really you? The regional announcement blew up, and Sky Agent was favored by you for a second? I saw your experience skyrocketed in the pet training camp, so I quickly added you. I haven't seen you for 3 years and you're buff. The most beloved queen in the server is back. In the voice, Su Nuan's voice was trembling with excitement, and the pet beasts were chirping in the background. The system's golden light surges, and Xiaobai's body is filled with blue light. His body lengthens in a circle, his hair flashes with silver edges, and the panel jumps up. Snowland Phantom Fox, evolved form, attack plus 3000 new skill Phantom tier. Range instant kill below LV 30. Su Nuan's hands trembled and she pointed at the panel. Oh my god! The affinity skill triggers evolution, and the DPS exceeds 40,000. Sister Li, if you match this pet with your operation, you will be invincible in the entire server. Passers-by and players gathered around, their eyes burning with jealousy. Master Su Nuan is going to end in person? Who is this woman? And all the pets are familiar with her. A hunter swallowed his saliva. We have to kneel down for a month to ask Su Nuan to teach her skills, but she is good. She can evolve into a divine pet with just one sentence. The two women ignored the gossip, and Su Nuan said excitedly, the hidden boss Dark Tree Demon King is deep in the camp. The left .25 elite drops legendary equipment. Form a team and help me deal with the damage. Luo Li nodded and Xiaobai led the way, rushing into the ancient tree cave with thick fog. The dark wind howled in the cave, and the fishy smell of moss hit your nostrils. The giant tree demon was entrenched, and the vines whipped out like whips. Roar! The ground trembled and stone chips flew. Su Nuan spewed fire to contain her. Luo Li ducked and moved sideways, and the operation was smooth and smooth. Xiaobai Phantom Tear. The fox shadow clones scattered, claws tore the vines, and the tree demon's health bar dropped by 40%. Ding! Experience plus 200%. Crit combo x5. Su Nuan screamed. Predict the tree demon AoE. The panel shows that your output is 95%. Luo Li picked it up, and the ring was as cold as jade. She put it on her finger, and the system-wide announcement roared. Ding! Player Luo Li equips the Ring of the Goddess and unlocks the hidden profession God-loving Warlock. The pet's combat power is doubled, all attributes are plus 1000, and the new magical skill Pet Spirit Summoning is added. The small white panel exploded. The output power was 80,000, and the skill cooldown returned to 0. The passers-by players around rushed into the cave and witnessed everything. They knelt on their knees and said, God Warlock! All legendary professions in the server, unlocked in the Novice Village? The Goddess Ring attribute, Pet Control plus 100%, we will never be able to get it in our lifetime. A warrior roared. I'm so jealous. Luo Li's faceplate has all red letters. S-level divine equipment starts. The Sky Alliance is kicking the iron. The tree demon was furious, spraying poisonous mist, and Su Nuan's health bar dropped by half. Fuck me. Luo Li teleported away, and threw out the skill book with his backhand. Share the buff. Su Nuan's panel flashed gold. 200% experience transfer. My phoenix also surged. The two pets struck together, and the tree demon fell to the ground with a wailing sound. Ding! The hidden equipment, Ring of the Goddess, is dropped. Plus 50% of the pet's combat power. Unlocking hidden branches for all professions. While they were celebrating, there was a murderous look outside the cave, and 3 blood-red figures attacked the elite team of Ye Chen's guild. The left .120 Fatten Thorn combination. The leading mage smiled sinisterly. Grab the ring. President Ye Chen ordered. Kill Luo Li and explode the equipment. Fire rain poured down, the lava on the ground rolled, and the heat wave was scorching. Luo Li squinted her eyes, and the sense of pressure that was suppressed before rising again came back. Nuan, protect your pet. She dodged the fire rain like a ghost, and the predicted trajectory slid sideways for 0.05 seconds. The mage's fireball passed by and scorched the corners of the cloth. Su Nuan blocked the tank charge. Xiaobai had already saved. Phantom Tear plus Divine Skill Explosion. Fox Shadow said 9 times. The first assassin's health bar evaporated and screamed, "Why 80,000 DPS?" Hidden Professional buff. The second tank raised its shield to top, but was crushed by the aura summoned by the beloved warlock. The shield was broken and everyone died. Ding! Counterattack LV.120 Sky Elite X2. Experience plus 5000%. Raised to LV.30. In the end, the mage's face turned pale, and he retreated and teleported. Monster! President, retreat! Luo Li pointed a finger and locked the magical skill. Beloved Spirit Imprisonment. Wrapped in invisible chains, the mage stood frozen. His little white claws fell and his head flew up. Ding! Destroy the Tianqiong team. And the results are announced. Su Nuan gasped and laughed, her eyes flashing with tears. Sister, you killed 3 people with no injuries, and the board crushed the level 120? This is your own destruction. Next to the corpse, equipment was scattered, and passers-by players flocked to it, worshipping and screaming. Goddess Luo Li. The god-loving warlock was born, and the sky gave away his head 3 times. A female player hugged her legs. Accept me as your disciple. Your little white is so handsome. Luo Li put away the brilliance of the ring, and Su Nuan pulled her sleeve, her voice low but excited. Sister, Ye Chen will not give up. All the Sky League spies are on the move. We need allies. That cold guy Gu Han, the Lone Ranger LV. 160 Swordmaster owes me a favor. Join him and exchange buffs with the wedding ring system, and you can sweep the guild. He just sent me a private message, saying that he was interested in forming a team after hearing about your return. Outside the cave, blue light exploded like a whirlpool. The sound of swords buzzed and pierced, and the cold air rushed through the pores of the whole body. Gu Han stepped out of the teleportation array, hunting in black robes, with frost condensing on the scabbard on his waist. The .160 Sword Master panel on the left appeared faintly, an attack power of 150,000, a critical hit rate of 65%, a cold-faced killing god who was among the top 10 in the PvP rankings in the whole server. He glanced at Luo Li and said in a voice like a sword scraping bones. Su Nuan said you have a 200% experience source buff, which is newly unlocked by the god-loving warlock. I heard that Tianqiong sent me 2 waves, so I came to see if it was worth joining forces. His eyes glanced at Xiaobai, his pupils shrank, but his expression was not revealed. The blue light of the teleportation array flashed in the distance, and an arrogant figure loomed. Cold sword energy hit his face, and Gu Han's invitation quietly approached.
Su Nuan pulled her sleeves excitedly. Broteran.
Sister Li's face is incredible. She just counterattacked the level 120 elite with no injuries. Team up to clear the final copy of Shadow Forest, the forbidden area of the novice village, and the first kill will reward you with the legendary amulet. That scumbag Ye Chen is gathering, let's push it quickly. A passerby said. Everyone gathered around to watch, whispering, Gu Han? Are all the sword masters in the server coming to novice village? Teaming up with Luo Li? Tianqiong is dead this time. An archer backed away with weak legs and murmured. The look in the left .160 boss's eyes. The murderous aura is off the charts, our legs are shaking when we get close. Luo Li nodded, the system team invitation popped up, and the golden light locked on the 3 of them. Agree. The buff was automatically shared, and Gu Han's panel flashed. Ding! Get 200% superposition of experience source, pet affinity level 5 transfer. My Frost Wolf. Attack plus 5,000. He looked down at the giant blue-haired wolf on his shoulder. The wolf's eyes lit up with silver light, and the DPS jumped by 30,000. Gu Han raised his eyebrows and showed a rare surprise. With this buff, the team's DPS will be doubled. The ultimate in Novice Village? Let's go. Luo Li Xiaobai took the lead. The phantom tore apart 9 clones, the heads of the shadow beasts flew together, and plasma sprayed like rain. Ding! Clear the entire floor. Upgrade to level 31. Output power 90,000. Su Nuan screamed and folded his arms. Sister Li's divine pet. 9 shadows instant kill range, the output accounted for 98%. My phoenix bird also received a buff, and the skill cooldown was halved. The second layer of vines was entangled, and the poisonous stings rained down like arrows. The ground opened and swallowed the mire, and the hot poisonous mist choked the nose. Gu Han blocked with his shield sword and furrowed his brows. This level is suppressed below level 30, and the tank position cannot withstand it. The taunting system sounded and the regional channel screen flashed. Haha, Luo Li brought a rookie to the ultimate? Gu Han also overturned, and the novice buff cannot withstand shadow poison DOT. Despair surged in and Su Nuan was poisoned. The blood bar dropped wildly, and the bird fell to the ground with a cry. The milk doesn't move. The poison hurts 20,000 per second. Gu Han's sword force stagnated, and there were blood marks on his shoulders. The operation is amazing, the numbers are suppressed. Players watched the live broadcast of the barrage explosion. Sky League spies announced the good news. Luo Li and 3 people have blocked the level, and Ye Chen's army has assembled at the exit. Luo Li's eyes were cold, and she flashed back to 3 years of humiliation, when Ye Chen's poisonous plan forced her to give up his favor. Now she is suppressed. Suppressing explosion. Xiaobai summoned the pet spirit at full speed. Buff limit stacking. With a flick of his finger, the divine ring spreads, and golden light floods the entire field. Xiaobai's size doubles, his hair freezes in ice, and he sprays blue and white ice flames. Boom! The range freezes, the vine demon freezes into ice sculptures and shatters, and the poisonous mist solidifies and falls to the ground. Ding! Ice flame magical skill. Instant kill of LV.28 Elite Group X20. Experience explosion plus 8,000%. The whole team is upgraded. Black fog billowed in the portal, and the 3 of them stepped into the shadow forest. The air instantly became rotten and smelly, the ground was slippery and the moss was crawling like living creatures, and the howls of ghosts and wolves echoed in the distance. A group of shadow beasts rushed towards the entrance, including more than a dozen ghost wolves on the left. 25, their claw shadows tore the air, and a fishy wind hit their faces. Su Nuan Fengke breathed fire to restrain. First level A focus fire. Gu Han's sword flashed, Shuanghua unsheathed. The sword energy swept like a tornado, and the 3 wolves' health bars were cleared. Ding! Critical hit combo X3. Experience plus 400%. Left point 161. His voice trembled slightly. This buff. 1 day's use is enough for me for a month? Gu Han's eyes widened, his sword stopped in midair, and his Adam's apple rolled. Ice flame DPS. 120,000? Cooldown to 0 range control magic? This pet panel crushed my frost wolf. Su Nuan burst into tears and hugged Luo Li. Sister. It's reversed. Your operation predicts the vine stab for 0.03 seconds. 0 breaking the barrier. A passerby broadcast through the dungeon mirror, his eyes bulging. Monster. The ultimate 2nd level pass in Novice Village? The sharing of Luo Li's buff made Gu Han kneel down and cry. We were stuck in a group of 10 for 3 hours and she pushed the map. Luo Li took a deep breath of the rancid air and spoke coldly. Gu Han, the sword restrains the left wing. Nuan Phoenix fire rains right wing. Xiaobai the main C explodes. The operation was like electricity, side flashing the bone gun for 0.02 seconds, and the figure shuttled ghostly. The golden light of the goddess's ring flourished. God-loving warlock soul explosion. The little white fox's eyes were red, and the ice flames condensed into a dragon, roaring and charging. Boom! The Bone Demon King's chest exploded. His health bar dropped by 60%, and his bones flew into pieces. It splashed like rain and the will-o'-the-wisp went out. Ding! Critical hit. The buff boosted my DPS to 180,000, and the boss's health line evaporated. Su Nuan took advantage of the victory, and the fire rain burned the remaining blood. Sister Li's prediction is amazing. The boss's big move is full dodge, and the output is off the charts. At the final boss level, the Shadow Demon King occupies the throne, and the black mist rolls like ink. The final boss at 0.35 left, the claw shadow tears apart the space, and the sinister wind bites the bones like a knife. Shadow servants swarmed around him. Poisonous smoke spewed out from cracks in the ground, and the corrosive smell made him cry. The Shadow Demon King grinned ferociously. Intruder, die! The teleportation claw struck, and the space distorted and hummed. Guhan blocked with his sword and shield, and took 3 steps back with his health bar in the air. Full suppression. There is no solution to shadow escape, and the DPS can't keep up. Su Nuan's middle claw flew out, and he hit the wall and vomited blood. I can't hold back. This boss has no first kill in the server. It's a nightmare in Novice Village. The live broadcast barrage collapsed. Luo Li and the others are going to become the laughingstock of history. Hundreds of people from Ye Chen's guild have surrounded the exit, and a declaration of war has been issued. Suppressed to the extreme, Ye Chen's sullen face flashed through Luo Li's mind, and she was filled with anger. Now, it's my turn. Little White's hair stood on end, and she roared like thunder. She clicked with her fingers. All skills unlocked. Pet Spirit Summoning Extreme Ice Fantasy Realm. The Divine Ring exploded, the Ice Flame Domain enveloped the entire scene. The Shadow Servant froze and shattered, and the Shadow Demon King's escape failed, exposing his giant body. Guhan gasped. Field control? The boss movement is slowed down by 80%, and my sword energy penetrates the bonus. Luo Li stepped forward, using the limit of operation, anticipating the claw attack for 0.01 seconds to slide in the air, and the backhand wind blade buff was like a laser. DPS is full. Xiaobai's 9 shadows merged, and the Ice Flame Dragon breath hit the core of the boss. Boom! Shadow Demon King's chest was pierced, black blood gushed out, and his wails were deafening. Ding! Kill the final boss of Shadow Forest for the first time. Server-wide announcement. Player Luo Li's team has achieved Conqueror of Novice Village, and the legendary equipment, Soul Amulet, will be rewarded. The whole server exploded, and the system speakers roared like thunder. Ding! Luo Li's pet god Warlock killed the Shadow Demon King for the first time, and dropped an S-level amulet. Pet combat power plus 100%, skill fusion rate 200%, all attributes plus 2000. After acquiring the amulet, warm currents rushed through the body, and the small white panel exploded. Output power 250,000, new magical skill Soul Flame Explosion, 0 cooldown. Guhan wiped the blood and stood up, his voice rarely trembling. First kill. The ultimate in the Novice Village? In your favored field, the boss has 0 counterattack, and the output accounts for 99%. This operation makes the whole server invincible. Su Nuan rushed to the group with tears mixed with blood. Sister. Starting at 0.35 left, talisman costume. We are invincible. On the 3rd level of the Bone Demon Army, withered bones collided like thunder, will-o'-the-wisps phosphorescently reflected the night sky, and the fishy wind mixed with the stench of rotten flesh hit your nostrils. The Bone Demon King summoned hundreds of mobs first, and the ground trembled, and the oppression was like a mountain. Roar! Guhan's sword energy burst out to clear the minions, but the king's bone gun pierced the armor, and the health bar dropped by 40%. I can't stand it. This boss has an output of 150,000, and the tank position collapsed. Su Nuan couldn't keep up with the amount of milk and gasped. They will all be wiped out. Ye Chen is laughing at us. The channel ridiculed. Luo Li is pretending to overturn. The Sky Army is waiting for the corpses at the exit. The light curtain at the exit of the dungeon shattered, and the 3 of them stepped out. The sunset was red with blood, but they saw the wall of people covered with darkness. 300 elite members of the Sky Alliance. Ye Chen stood in front of him, with 150 Dharma King robe hunting on the left. His face was ashen. Luo Li. 3 times the first kill was snatched away by you. The guild declares war and blasts your godly pampering family. The tanks in the rear raised their shields, charging up their magic system, with murderous intent like a tide, and dust on the ground. Passerby players watched from a distance and screamed. The war broke out. Team Luo Li versus Tianqiong 300? With the talisman buff, can she counterattack the entire server? The sunset was like blood, shining on the edge of the cliff at the exit of the shadow forest. Poisonous smoke curled up from the cracks in the ground, mixed with the fishy smell of burnt earth, which stung the nose. The black wall of 300 elite members of the Sky Alliance was sealed like an iron barrel. The clashing of shields was like the roar of war drums. The sleeves of the mage's robe were hunting, and the charged fireball rolled red light in the palm of the hand. The tanks roared and stamped on the ground, and the dust flew up and blocked the sky. Ye Chen stands in front of the formation left. 150. The golden edge of the king's robe is shining. His face is livid and twisted into a ferocious smile, and the top of his staff is embedded with an imitation green crystal, an inferior copy of the source of experience, which emits a weak green light. With a wave of his finger, the regional channel exploded with taunts. Luo Li, have you retired for 3 years and pretended to be dead? You gave up your pet and kneeled down to lick my sky resources, and now you are leading 2 rookies to grab the first kill? Novice Village is finally a piece of shit. 300 elites will crush you, destroy the whole family of God's pet wheel, and let the whole server see how you, a goddess, deleted your account while crying. Passerby players watched from a distance and barraged through the live broadcast mirror. The Sky Guild is going to do it. Ye Chen will go down personally, and Luo Li and the other 3 are finished. A hunter player backed away with weak legs, muttering. 300 people surround the novice area? The murderousness value is off the charts. Our hearts stopped when we got close. Su Nuan's face turned pale, her wings trembled, and she held Luo Li's arm tightly. Sister, 300 elites, average level 80+. No matter how powerful our buff is, we can't withstand the sea of people. Gu Han shook his black robe, the frost flower sword buzzed out of its sheath, and the frost wolf roared and crouched on its shoulders but frowned. Master Ye Chen's wave cleared the field. The terrain is unfavorable, and the DPS is not enough to fight hard. Luo Li's heart sank. 3 years of humiliation came like a tide. Ye Chen was poisoned back then. The shadow of a plan to force her to abandon her pets flashed. Her fists trembled slightly, but her eyes were as cold as frost. Retreat to the cliff, use the forest fog and cracks, and pull while fighting. Nuan pet the group to control the field. Brother Han snipe the backline magic system. Xiaobai follow me as C. War breaks out. The tanks in the front line of the sky charged. The shield array pushed forward like a wall. The ground shook like an earthquake, and the moss underfoot was slippery and stumbling. The mages in the back row fired volleys of fire and rain, roaring like thunder and blasting with heat waves, and the burning smell was choking. Su Nuan screamed, "Phoenix, the fire feathers are scattered." The phoenix flapped its wings, and the fire rain collided, and the aftermath of the explosion burned the skin, but Tianqiong was overwhelmed by the numerical advantage. More than a dozen shield battles were approaching, and the taunting aura suppressed the health bar. Ding! The taunting took effect, and the Luo Li team moved -30%. Gu Han's sword flashed, and the frost wolf pounced and tore through the 3 shields, with plasma splashing on it. Black robe. Critical hit. Overwhelmed with despair, Ye Chen raised his staff with a grim smile, and the green crystal flashed slightly. The imitation experience source is activated. The entire buff of the guild is +50%. Luo Li, let's see how you turn. The elites from the sky surged up like a tide. The clashing swords and shields mixed with screams. The air was filled with blood and burnt stench, and the edge of the cliff was teetering. The barrage of passersby's live broadcast collapsed. Luo Li suppressed. Gu Han spurted blood, and 300 people in the sky pushed the picture like chopping melons and vegetables. An archer player smashed the screen. Jealous of Ye Chen's resources, imitating the experience source? In the guild battle across the server, our small studio cried faint. Luo Li gritted her teeth and used the limit to dodge the fire rain for 0.02 seconds to retreat. Xiaobai roared and his hair stood on end. Xiaobai, the extreme ice fantasy realm is opened in a small area. Nuan, Pet Spirit summons group control. The blue light of ice flame exploded, and the mist exploded. The striker's footsteps froze in the dozens of sky domes, and he slipped through the cracks and fell into the abyss. His screams echoed like a ghost crying. Ding! Freezing instant kill x15. Experience plus 3000%. Su Nuan's eyes blurred with tears, and she summoned the phoenix bird clone to contain the fire net. Sister God's prediction. The field control is perfect, the DPS of my pet group is doubled, and the cooldown is reduced to 0. Gu Han's sword is like a dragon, and the heads of the back row mages are flying, and the frost wolf silver light is tearing. The sword energy penetrates plus light yellow, and the output of Ye Chen's soldiers is reduced to 220,000. While retreating and fighting at the same time, the three of them sought each other on the cliff. In the mist, the formation of the sky was chaotic for a moment. The corpses piled up and blood flowed into the river, and the stench went straight to their foreheads. Ye Chen's face was ashen and he roared. Dharma King's domain fully suppression. The black clouds were overwhelming, thunder and fire roared, and hot electric arcs shot through the body like needles. Gu Han blocked a wave, the cracks in Shuanghua's sword spread, and the blood bar was dangerously red. I can't stand it. Boss-level suppression. Su Nuan flew out of the thunder and hit the cliff wall. Blood spurted out of her mouth. It's all gone. At this moment, Luo Li's vision caught a glimpse of Ye Chen's robe sleeves flashing with green crystals, the source of imitation experience, and the energy wave faintly locked on her back. Ye Chen teleported with a sinister smile, and the staff secretly attacked the black light. Die, the divine pet will explode first. The murderous intention was like an ice knife hitting his face. Luo Li's heart was trembling, and he operated the ghost to side dodge for 0.01 seconds, and the wind blade passed by with his backhand. I found you imitation garbage. The small white soul flame exploded, and the blue and white flame tornado swallowed the green crystal. Ye Chen retreated with a groan, his robe sleeves were scorched. Ding! Destroy the imitation experience source. Ye Chen's buff is invalid minus 30%. The morale of Tianqiong's elite collapsed and they were in chaos. The president's props were destroyed? Luo Li predicted the sneak attack and controlled the monster. Passers-by and players widened their eyes, and the live broadcast room became very popular. Reversal. Ye Chen overturned and the imitation source was seconds? Luo Li DP Queen S has no solution. Gu Han gasped and stood up. A strange light flashed in his eyes. It's so dangerous. Her pet realm controls the whole field, and the output accounts for 95%. Su Nuan struggled to summon the pet, and said with tears, Sister, help me. We are about to chase. Click, the private chat ringtone rang urgently. Xanu's avatar popped up, and a trembling voice came. Sister Li.
Urgent information.
Ye Chen covets the Central City Auction House's legendary prop Heart of Pet Soul, which is an S++ level fusion stone that can make pet beasts ascend directly. Divine Beast. He forced you to retire in order to monopolize the secrets of the auction. Now the gathering of 300 is a delay. The main force has sneaked into the auction house to grab bids. Otherwise, the top items in the server will fall into his hands and the new era will be monopolized by Tianqiong. Luo Li's pupils shrank sharply, and the conspiracy of the auction house emerged behind 3 years of retirement. It was Ye Chen's insidious plan. Burning with anger. Retreat. Use the fog to cut off the rear. The three of them retreated deep into the cliff. Soon Wamfing K blocked the road with fire and rain. Gu Han's sword energy swept away the pursuers, and Xiaobai's 9 shadow avatar reaped like a ghost. Ding! Kill the Sky Elite X80. Experience plus 15,000%. Upgrade to level 36. Ye Chen roared after him. Don't run. The guilds are all chasing you. But the fog was full of putrid odor, and the elites got lost and fell off the cliff, screaming incessantly. Finally breaking through, the teleportation array flashed with blue light, and the three of them escaped and landed in the wilderness outside the central city, their figures elongated by the sunset. Gu Han suddenly staggered to his knees, black blood oozing out from the wound on his shoulder under his black robe, corroding dough like a bug eating bones, causing veins on his forehead to bulge in pain. Damn it! Ye Chen's last blow, Shadow Poison Needle, can't be cured. Frost Wolf whined and licked, and the panel showed that poison DPS was reduced by half. Su Nuan hurriedly cried out, "Brother Han! My detoxification skills can't stand it. The left .150 exclusive poison." Passers-by players watched from a distance, whispering, "Gu Han is seriously injured?" All the sword masters in the server are kneeling, and the Luo Li team breaks through with 300 people? Monster! A mage player's eyes bulged. Amulet buff plus Operation Zero Injury breakout? I'm so jealous that I vomited blood. Even our 10-man team knelt down when we fought against the Tianqiong team. Luo Li's heart felt warm. She squatted down and tore off her robe to wrap the wound, covered it with warm palms, and injected the golden light of the goddess's ring. Soul-favoring amulet, skill fusion, light of purification. The warm current blew by like a spring breeze. Gu Han's wounds healed, the black blood evaporated, and the panel dinged. Ding! Poison detoxification. Full life plus all attributes plus 500. He raised his head, showing a rare soft look, and said in a low voice, "Thank you. This amulet has magical effects, a fusion rate of 200%, and is the only one in the entire server." Luo Li avoided his burning gaze, but something strange flashed in her mind. A faint green light flashed under Gu Han's black robe. Deep in the wound, there seemed to be a strange vein that was not part of the shadow poison. Does the secret of 3 years of retirement also involve him? Luo Li caressed Xiao Bai. The blue light of icy flames reflected on her face and sneered, "Come on." Gu Han drew his sword, Su Nuan summoned his pet, and the war was about to break out. The wind and sand of the wilderness hit the face, mixed with the aftertaste of blood and rotting fog. The afterglow of the setting sun stretched the figures of the 4 people. The tall tower in the central city looked like a giant beast entrenched, and the golden lights on the top of the tower flickered to reflect the surging crowds in the auction house. Exinu rushed out of the city gate out of breath. The gold embroidery on the auction agent's exclusive cloak was soaked with sweat. Her eyes widened and her voice trembled like a candle in the wind. "Sisterly. Ye Chen, that bastard's main force of 50 people has sneaked into the inner hall of the auction house, pretending to be individual bidders. Insiders say that they have brought money laundering props and are preparing to buy the heart of Pet with a starting price of 1 billion S++ fusion stone. A shortcut to the divine beast. And a pet-controlled nightmare across the server. Top guilds such as Dragon Soul and Blood Alliance have also gathered, and the regional channel has exploded. Whoever grabs it will dominate the new era." Passers-by players watched from a distance. Whispers came like a flood. A hunter player backed away with weak legs and a trembling bowstring. Luo Li broke through the 300 sky dome? Now he is forming an auction alliance? I am jealous to death. We individual players can't even collect the tickets. Another mage smashed his fist with bloodshot eyes. Gu Han's sword master is seriously injured and standing still? Then the DPS under the black robe is 220,000, the purification all attributes are plus 500. And the panel has been revealed? Crying faint about a small job room. Su Nuan wiped away the tears. Feng Keifei lightly flapped the hot air, and held Luo Li's arm tightly. "Sister, the intelligence is correct? The 4 of us forced our way into the auction. What should we do if the top guild attacked?" Gu Han's black robe shook slightly, and the Shuanghua sword buzzed back. His shoulder hurt like a needle, but he locked eyes with Luo Li and said in a low voice, "Go back to the city first, suppress the aftermath of my shadow poison, and then kill again." Luo Li nodded. Xiao Bai squatted on his shoulders with a low growl. His snow-white hair reflected the blood red of the setting sun, and Nine Tails shook his head gently to warn the surroundings. "Let's go." The teleportation array enters the city. Nuan, the buffs are shared and maintained. "Sister Yu, tell us all the information on the server as we walk." The 5 of them walked quickly through the wilderness, with the sound of withered grass and gravel under their feet. In the wind, there was a faint tracking roar like the wolf howl of the sky spies. The regional channel suddenly exploded, and the server-wide announcement scrolled with dazzling red letters. Ding! The Sky League has issued a server-wide reward order. Luo Li's head 10 billion gold. God's pet little white egg 1 billion. Su Nuanfing bird's wings 500 million. The kill certificate is uploaded, and the guild resources are fully opened. Ye Chen said, "Goddess? Tonight kneel down and lick the whole family." The barrage was. The reward is broken. The newbie level 36 dares to provoke the level 150 king. A tank player turned pale and dropped his shield. 10 billion? Our 10-man team can't make enough in 1 year. Who dares to touch the sky? As depressed as a mountain, Su Nuan's face turned pale, and the phoenix screamed and shrank its wings. Sister, the whole server is chasing us. The individual people have turned black, and the guild is encircling and suppressing us. No matter how high our level is, we can't withstand the sea of people. The green veins flashed faintly in the wound under the black robe, and he groaned in pain and lowered his voice. Offer a reward to attract hatred, level up and cut off the tail before recovering. In the wilderness monster area, the experience source buff is infinitely stacked, and then raise it to level 45. Anger surged in Luo Li's heart, and the humiliation of 3 years of retirement was like a knife. But after a slight trembling of his fists, his eyes were cold and bright. Bounty? Let them come. Xiaobai, warm up with the soul flame blast. Nuan, summon the pet spirit to clear the way. The war resumes. The wild beasts are swarming like a tidal wave. Left. 40 The wild wolf king leads hundreds of them to run wildly. His claws tear the air. A fishy wind blows into his nostrils, and the ground trembles and dust flies up to cover the sky. Passers-by watched the live broadcast from a distance, their eyes bulging. Luo Li is leveling up? How dare you do it in the wild with a bounty on your head? Monster!
Su Nuan screamed. Wolves AOE. DPS exceeds 100,000 per animal.
The fire feathers of the phoenix scattered and collided, and the heat wave burned their faces, but the wolf wave was overwhelming, and the taunting aura health bar dropped wildly. Ding! Movement minus 20%. DOT stacks up to 5,000 per second. Gu Han's sword came out like a dragon, and the frost wolf tore into the 3 wolves and splashed blood all over the black robe. Critical hit x5 DPS increased 250,000, but the recovery damage, the output is reduced by 10%. After he finished speaking, a claw hit his shoulder, the green veins were burning, and the blood bar was red. Damn it, the residual poison is taking effect. Overwhelmed by despair, Xiaobai's 9 shadow clones exploded. Blue and white soul flame tornadoes swallowed the wolves. Ice flames intertwined and froze them, and the miserable howls echoed like ghost cries. Ding! Instant kill. Li operated the ghost sliding step for 0.01 seconds to flash the claws, and the golden light of the goddess's ring was injected. Fusion of the god of love extreme realm. Xiaobai's DPS soared to 350,000. The 9-tailed fantasy realm expanded by 100 meters. The wolf king's head flew together and the blood mist exploded, and the panel rang loudly. Ding! Luo Li rises to level 38, 39, 45. All attributes are plus 3,000. The hidden talent of the god warlock is awakened, and the skill fusion rate is 300%. Su Nuan's eyes widened, and her voice trembled like a madwoman. Sister God upgraded. Xiaobai's skill tree is fully activated, and the phantom is broken. Crack penetration plus soul flame explosion AoE. My phoenix bird borrows the buff, and the pet skill is upgraded to rare phoenix flame reincarnation, with a cooldown of 0.5 seconds. She was ecstatic with tears, summoning a clone of the fire net to harvest, and the experience sharing table was Nuan LV42, the whole team's buff plus 15%. Gu Han gasped and stood up. The cracks in Shuanghua's sword healed, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. Unbelievable. The experience source is infinite. The left .45 novice outfit? I kneel down to all the sword masters in the server. The DPS depends on you 95%. A passerby player crashed the screen, and the live broadcast popularity exceeded 100 million. Luo Li's leveling is like cutting grass. A bounty of 10 billion is still rising to 45? I'm so jealous that I deleted my account, and we leveled up LV for a day. 1. An archer player knelt on his knees. The little white god's pet is fully activated. The fusion rate is 300%. The Dragon Soul Guild is crying. The pet controller's dream is broken. XINU's intelligence panel refreshed, and his voice was sharp. Full server intelligence. Ye Chen has offered a reward for 50 Dragon Souls to seal the city, but you have reached the top of the wealth list, and the loot is X50, so you can make a profit. The city gate was in sight, and the lights of the tower illuminated the crowd. Luo Li led the team to rush in, teleporting a flash of blue light, and went straight to the rehabilitation center in the city. The scent of medicine mixed with the stench of sweat in the air. The training puppet's iron fist roared. Gu Han took off his black robe, revealing the green veins on his shoulders that were faintly squirming like a living insect. The pain was so painful that the veins popped out. Exclusive to Shadow Poison, carry the Elva 100 puppet first for rehabilitation. Puppet, DPS is restored. Su Nuan hurriedly said. Brother Han, Feng Ke purifying fire assist. Luo Li covered his palm, and the warmth of the soul talisman was injected. Fusion purification upgrade. The green veins evaporate. There was an explosion, and the puppet's head was shattered into pieces. Metal fragments flew and jingled. All attributes plus 800. DPS returned to 300,000. Lear, your talisman magical skills are unsolvable. His eyes were scorching and he rarely called Shaoli. The muscles under the black robe were tense. The two of them trained with swords and lights, sweat was steaming and hot, and the interaction was like a lover's tacit understanding. Retired for 3 years, why did you give up your favor? Ye Chen forces you. I checked the clues, it seems to involve my old debt. Luo Li's heart trembled. She avoided his deep eyes and clenched her fists slightly. Forget about the old things, let's sweep the auction first. As the warmth grew, Su Nuan snickered and Xenu pulled her to chat privately. Sister Nuan, Gu Han is full of tenderness, Sister Li is blushing? Additional information. Ye Chen laundering 2 billion for a stable bid. But selling off your loot, your wealth skyrocketed by 5 billion. In the inner hall of the auction house, the golden crystal chandelier swayed. The crowds of people roared like a tsunami. The green light flashed on the bidding platform, and the red word "Start Bid 1 billion" scrolled. Luo Li operated the sale of Sky Elite to drop. Left point 80 Epic Shield. The Soul member smashed the table. The newbie commoner is throwing away the Sky War profit? 5 billion is spent to buy the Soul's heart. Our guild is crying. The Blood Alliance mage trembled. Left point 45 DPS Queen. The fusion amulet is revealed? The Soul's heart is hers. The wealth soared like a rocket. Luo Li sneered and bid 1.5 billion. Ye Chen disguised himself in the crowd. His face was livid, and the scorch marks on his sleeves were still there. 2 billion. The game was like a fire, and the regional channel exploded with taunts. Ye Chen versus Luo Li? You dare to auction the bounty. You are looking for death. Su Nuan controlled the pet spirit to suppress the field. Xinu acted inside the blood-sealing alliance, and Xiaobai Jiuing was on invisible alert. Gu Han's sword energy was secretly swept into the spy, and his plasma was sprayed low. Lear, you got the mark. A new era of mythical beasts. The interaction heated up and Luo Li's inner lake was slightly rippling, but she caught a glimpse of Gu Han's green veins. Did that strange vein seem to have the same origin as Ye Chen's imitated green crystal? Is the secret of retirement hidden and implicated in a bigger conspiracy? The king bid was about to be decided, and the entire server was locked in. Luo Li decided to take the initiative. Form a temporary team and sweep across the top guilds. Nuan controls the field. Sister Yu provides intelligence. Brother Han takes charge of DPS, and Xiaobai harvests. Everyone nodded, and their morale was high. At this moment, the system bell rang throughout the server. The golden invitation popped up on the Luo Li panel, and the gorgeous phoenix pattern shone. Ding! The invitation to the mysterious grand wedding has arrived. Participants can unlock the wedding ring exchange buff, and the pet skill transfer magical skill is awakened.
Initiator. Gu Han.
The whole server is limited to 100 people, and the central cathedral will be opened immediately.
Su Nuan screamed, Sister.
There is something wrong with Gu Han's eyes. Gu Han's face was slightly stiff, and the green veins flashed wildly under his black robe. A bigger crisis appeared quietly. The golden lamp in the inner hall of the auction house is swaying. The green light of the bidding platform is pulsing like a heart. The soul's heart is suspended in the air, emitting a faint blue aura, and the air is filled with the sultry heat of the rusty smell of gold coins and the smell of players' sweat. Luo Li's fingers paused slightly. The red text of 1.5 billion bidding was still flashing on the panel. Ye Chen's disguised figure was hidden in the shadow of the crowd. His fists clenched under the scorch marks on his robe sleeves, and his eyes were filled with poisonous gleams like snakes hesitating. Su Nuan's scream pierced the noise. and the phoenix's wings fluttered and the hot wind hit her face. Sister, wedding invitation? Brother Gu Han initiated a limited edition of 100 for the whole server. A limited edition phoenix pattern divine clothing level. This is a live broadcast of a marriage proposal. Her cheeks turned red, her eyes widened like copper bells, and barges flashed across the intelligence panel. Luo Li's novice commoner is getting married? There's a wedding with a reward of 10 billion on his head. Looking for excitement. Xianyu's intelligence cloak was shaking, her legs were weak against the wall, and her voice was trembling like a leaf falling in the wind. Sister Li, all channels in the server are blown up. The Dragon Soul Guild is mocking. Left .45 Sanren girl marries LV.161 Sword Master? Gu Han's brainless fan. Wealthless, the first one can't save Tianqiong's encirclement and suppression. Insiders of the Blood Alliance said that Ye Chen has transferred the main force, and he is sure to win the auction bid. But the wedding church, intelligence shows that Tianqiong's 50 elites have infiltrated the guests. Passers-by players gathered around, whispering like this. The tide surged. A tank hit the shield and hit the ground. The metal of the shield hit the ground and the clang echoed. Luo Li's DPS is 300,000, the commoner queen, and the marriage buff is superimposed? We Sanren can't even afford wedding tickets, so we are crying out of jealousy. The mage player's eyes were filled with bloodshot eyes, and sawdust flew from the table with his fist. Gu Hanshuang's Hua sword has DPS 300,000, and the green vein shadow poison has been purified, and now he is proposing? The live broadcast of the whole server has exceeded 1 billion. And Ye Chen's bounty has turned into a joke. Gu Han's black robe swayed slightly, the frost sword hummed and hummed, the green veins on his shoulders had faded like hidden threads. He stepped forward, knelt on one knee, locked eyes with Luo Li. His voice was as low as frost and snow melting. Lear, when you retired 3 years ago, when I checked the old accounts I found out that Ye Chen is plotting to implicate my old enemy. Today it's not for the game but for you to come back. Marry me. Exchange your wedding rings to unlock the God of Love buff, and sweep the entire server together. A golden phoenix ring appeared in his palm, and the ring was wrapped with phoenix flames, exuding roses. The scent of roses filled her nostrils, and the system bell rang throughout the server. Ding! Gu Han invites Luo Li to a grand in-game wedding. Accept it for a limited time. The live broadcast will start on all servers, and participants will receive plus 1000% experience, favor, and plus 50% permanent buff. Luo Li's heart trembled, and she retreated alone for 3 years and was humiliated. After clenching her fists, her eyes flashed softly. Okay. She clicked to accept, and the golden light exploded to wrap up the two of them, sending a blue light to engulf the figures, and went straight to the central cathedral. The night outside the church is like ink, the stars are pouring, the phoenix torch hangs 100 meters high. The flames are rolling and the heat waves are burning the skin. The petals are falling in the rain mixed with the fragrance of rose honey. The bells are sonorous like thunder, and the mirror projections of players across the server are gathered, and the popularity has soared by 2 billion. Su Nuan pulled Xianyu into the guest seat, and the bird screamed and flapped its wings excitedly. Sister's wedding! But the information is critical. Ye Chen's deputy Jagged War has sneaked in with 50 disguises. The DPS single target exceeded 150,000, and the full epic set. Xianyu faced the board shook wildly, and the voice was sharp. Sister Li, the auction house bid King Ye Chen has hit 2.5 billion, and you have the heart of doting soul. Server-wide announcement. The Sky League dominates the rankings, but he switched to the wedding, and the reward is increased by 2 billion to Xiaobai. The guests and passers-by stared at eyes protruding. A Dragon Soul member's legs weakened and he retreated, his epic robe dripping with sweat. LV.45 Bride of Luo Li? The golden light of the goddess's ring is blinding. The DPS queen marries a swordsman. The buff stack is infinitely fused by 300%. Our guild's annual fee can't even make up the wedding gift. The Blood Alliance tank hit the ground and cracks spread on the ground. Gu Han's green vein purification all attributes plus 800. The wedding ring exchange pet skill transfer? The raid of 50 people in the sky was in vain. Jealous to the point of deleting it. The crystal dome in the church reflects brilliantly. The red carpet is paved with roses on the edge of the pungent fragrance. The priest NPC's phoenix robe is fluttering. and the holy music of the chanting echoes like the sound of nature. Luo Li's white gauze wedding dress transformed, the golden light of the goddess's ring reflected the snowy skin. The 9 tails on Xiao Bai's shoulders waved blue flames in warning. Gu Han's black robe turned into a black gold dress, and the frost sword turned into a wedding sword, and the frost glow loomed. The two looked at each other, and Gu Han whispered affectionately, "Lear, from novice village to now, the DPS relies on you 95%, and the same goes for my heart." Luo Li raised her lips slightly, and put her palm on his hand. Settling old scores later, God's seat first. After the oath was taken, the priest shouted, "Exchange rings." The gold rings interlocked, and the system's golden glow filled the entire server. Ding! The wedding is complete. Luo Li and Gu Han solved the problem. Lock the hidden plot. Pet God engagement. Ring buff. 100% pet skill transfer. Plus 500% experience sharing. All attributes plus 5,000. Xiaobai triggers awakening pet god explosion. The magical skill combines soul flame explosion plus phantom tear plus extreme ice fantasy domain. Cools down for 0 seconds, and the pet level reaches 800,000. All skill trees are maxed out. Xiaobai's low roar shook the palace. His snow-white hair exploded into a tornado of blue-gold soul flames. The 9 shadow clones turned into hundreds of shadows and danced wildly. The 9-tailed phantom realm expanded thousands of meters and intertwined with ice and flames. The air in the church was suddenly cold and biting, mixed with the stench of burning. Su Nuan burst into tears and screamed, her voice trembling like crazy. "Sister's magical skills have awakened. Xiaobai LV.6800,000 DPS? My Feng K transferred. Feng Yin reincarnated and exploded. And the cooldown was doubled by 2,000. Nuan's all attributes were plus 2,000, and the buff was shared with the entire team. Our epic set's DPS is only 100,000. The passerby broke down and blasted the barrage. The little white god's pet blasted through the whole map? The new era of Luo Li's panel buzzed wildly. DPS exceeded 700,000. All attributes were plus 8,000. Infinite fusion talents were sublimated. Operating ghosts were like light and shadow teleporting. The goddess's ring plus the soul amulet were golden and blue, and the bride's veil was fluttering with fighting spirit boiling. Xiao Bai, all alerts are on. Gu Hanshuang's sword buzzed in resonance, and his DPS surged to 500,000. His eyes turned into tenderness. "My wife, your magic skills are sweeping across the server." The warmth was high, and the two of them kissed in the rain of petals. The fragrance of roses and honey hit their noses, and the sonorous sound of the bells reached its peak. Su Nuan and Exine Yu congratulated each other in unison with tears of ecstasy. "Brother-in-law, we will always be in love. Sharing the buffs, we are invincible." The live broadcast across the server was hotly discussed like a tsunami. Romantic divine marriage plus divine pet awakening. The legend of Luo Li is restarted. Ye Chen's bounty has become a laughingstock. Just before the afterglow of the climax faded away, the church dome suddenly shattered, glass fragments rained down like jingling sounds. The night wind mixed with blood rushed in, 50 black shadows jumped down. The elite epic suit of the Sky Alliance flashed. The iron-blooded fighting deputy, the iron-blooded fighting roar was like a beast. President Ye Chen's order. Bridal head. 15 billion skulls. 3 billion for God's pet Xiaobai. Destroying the entire wedding scene. Oi, green mist exploded. DOT was hit by 10,000 damage per second. The taunting halo moved minus 50%. The guests screamed and scattered. The blood bar dropped wildly and the red light flashed. Ding! Sky Elite LV. 140 DPS concentrated fire. 150,000/person. The crowd is suppressing. Su Nuan's face turned pale. Feng Ke shrieked. 50 people attack. Group control breaks the defense. My reincarnation is still on CD. Wrong. Their money laundering epic is in full swing. Gu Han frowned. His black robe split open and he rushed forward to protect his wife. The frost wolf tore through the 3 shadows and splashed blood all over the golden gift. The DPS is full, but the crowd is 50, and the rehabilitation injury is dull. After the axe hit, his green veins flickered and he knelt down in pain, and his health bar was dangerously red. Despair was as heavy as a mountain collapse, and the live broadcast of passersby collapsed. Wedding raid? The 50 elites of the sky, Luo Li's new buff can't withstand it. The DPS queen is finished. The tide of ridicule came. The green mist corroded the skin and stung like needles. The iron-blooded battle fiercely smiled and slashed at Luo Li. Goddess? Kneel down and lick Ye Chen. Luo Li's eyes glowed coldly, the bride's veil was blood-red, and Xiaobai's nine-tailed soul flame warmed up. Here it comes. She operated the magic step for 0.001 seconds and injected the goddess ring. Full open. Xiaobai roared and the blue-gold soul flame dragon swallowing the sky. Hundreds of shadow clones instantly killed 20 elites. Their heads flew away and the blood mist exploded like fireworks. The frozen green mist in the extreme ice fantasy realm slipped and howled miserably. Ding! Instant kill 0 seconds. The iron-blooded warrior glared. And the battle axe trembled. Magic skill? Impossible. New favorite level 60. Luo Li flashed ghostly. The purifying green mist evaporated in his palm, and the tearing claw shadow tore into his epic armor. Blood and flesh were sprayed with blood. Counterattack. The iron-blooded fighter knelt down and exploded the equipment with remaining blood, and the panel announced, Ding! Luo Li kills Tianqiong's deputy for the first time, and drops an S-level battle axe plus epic set X10. A server-wide announcement. The remaining 30 elites retreated with weak legs, screaming and collapsing. The second-in-command kneels down in a second? Xiaobai's blast has no solution. Our DPS's concentrated fire is in vain. Luo Li's DPS was fully activated at 700,000. One person swept across like mowing grass. The soul flame exploded and the sea of blood rolled. The church ground, the face crack spread and metal fragments flew. Su Nuan returned to the divine fire network and shot. Sister is invincible. Gu Han stood up and harvested the sword energy, with a strange light in his eyes. My wife, God! After the whole place fell silent, passers-by smashed the screen. One person swept 50. Marriage BFF exploded. Luo Li, the DPS queen, was jealous of Gu Han's treasure hunt. Su Nuan and Xenu burst into tears. Best wishes for victory. Gu Han held hands affectionately. Lear, we will never be separated. Luo Li felt warm, but saw the red alert on the intelligence panel. Flash Ye Chen leads 300 main forces to blockade the outside of the church. The heart of the money-laundering pet soul has merged with his own pet. The green crystal beast roars. The general attack is about to start. The whole server will be encircled and suppressed, and the wedding battle will begin. The night wind roars, and the crisis is approaching like a storm. The night wind outside the church is like weeping blood, whistling and picking up the rotting stench of fallen leaves and bloody minced meat. 300 black shadows surround them like iron barrels. Left point 140 Sky Elite Epic sets green phosphorescent light flashes. Battle axes and staffs hum and roar. And the ground trembles with footsteps like thunder drums. Ye Chen is hunting in a gold-trimmed robe, his golden eyes are blazing with poisonous fire. The green crystal beast on his shoulders is roaring and breathing. The mist corrodes the stone steps and hisses. Dot is injured every second. The green mist fills the air, and the air is pungent like burning sulfur. Luo Li. Wedding, I am determined to win the ring shard. The 15 billion reward will be increased by 20 billion, and the little white god's pet will be harvested together with 3 billion. 300 main forces are in charge. The DPS concentration exceeds 300,000 person. No matter how strong the engagement buff is. His voice echoed across the server channels like a ghost, and the barrage went crazy. The bride DPS queen can't stand it. Gu Han's green veins have relapsed, it's over. The passerby's mirror projection collapsed and screamed. The leg of the First Blood Alliance tank smashed the shield, and the metal of the shield twisted and echoed. Our guild's annual fee is not enough. Luo Li's wedding buff plus 8,000 attributes are useless. The sea of dots can kill instantly. Luo Li's bride's white gauze was stained with blood and fluttering. The golden light of the goddess's ring pulsed dimly. The little white nine-tailed soul flame trembled slightly and alerted for 1,000 meters. The red alarm on the panel flashed wildly. Ding! The sky blockade is expanded. The escape path is 0%. The taunting aura minus 70% movement speed. And the entire team's DOT damage is 50,000 per second. She clenched her fists and pointed. The knots turned white, and the humiliation of 3 years of retirement flooded into his heart. The cracks in Gu Hanxuan's gold dress widened. The frost chi and the frost flower sword stagnated, and the dull pain in the green veins returned and his knees were slightly bent. My wife. There are 300 people in the sea, I can't hold it back with 500,000 DPS, and the alliance has not yet been formed. Su Nuan's face was as white as paper, and the red phoenix shrank its wings and whined. Feng Yan's reincarnation CD was locked for 20 seconds. The blood bar dropped wildly and the red light was dazzling. Sister. 300 diode of green mist and rotting bones, my 200,000 DPS auxiliary shots can't withstand it. Nuan has plus 2,000 attributes, so I'm going to kneel down. Ju. Sisterly insiders broke the news that Ye Chen laundered 2.5 billion of the heart of the fused pet soul. The green crystal behemoth is S++ level. A single armor-breaking DPS of 400,000 plus OE fog blasts the entire map. The guild's corrupt black gold transaction was exposed, but it was useless. The Dragon Soul Blood Alliance has taken orders to siege the city. The whole server is hotly discussing. God Luo Li's marriage will become a graveyard. Black clouds pressed down, cracks spread in the stone walls of the church, and green mist seeped into the hall, corroding rose petals and turning into black ash. The roars of the remnants of the fierce iron-blooded battle echoed. President. The deputy leader killed S-Axe. And we will pay for it with blood. 300 elites rushed forward. The battle axe slashed into the air with a burst of sound, and the staff glowed green. The doughty cloud layer exploded, and the guests and passers-by fell to the ground howling miserably, with blood spattering and hot. Ding! The main force of the sky is LV. 140. The concentrated fire output exceeds 1 million, and the wedding venue has fallen. A dragon soul mage's mirror image protruded with eyes wide, and the sleeves of his robe were scorched black. Little Luo Li white level 60 divine explosion has a 0-second cooldown, but the sea of people taunted her, and her movement speed was reduced by 70%. She couldn't move even if she was jealous of Gu Han's engagement. The tide of taunts surged and Luo Li used ghostly step to slide away 3 axes, but the green mist clung to her skin and stung like thousands of needles. The health bar dropped by 10%, and Xiaobai's Fantasyland was frozen for 1,000 meters. 10 people slipped and cried, but the fog breath of the giant beast backfired and the ice shattered and evaporated. I can't hold on. Gu Han soared energy to protect his wife tore through 5 shadows. Blood and flesh splashed all over the dress. Lu Mai groaned in pain and knelt down. Leah retreat. Despair was like a landslide. The live broadcast popularity of the whole server exceeded 3 billion, and the Red Sea of barges collapsed. A bloody wedding battle? The sky is crushed by 300 people, and the legend of Luo Li's retirement is a joke. Ye Chen rushed forward with a ferocious smile, and the green crystal beast in the gold-trimmed robe roared and pounced. Its huge claws broke through the armor and grabbed Luo Li's wedding ring. The fragments belong to me. The shadow of the claws covered the sky. The DPS 400,000 crit was blinded by red light, and the air was torn and exploded. Luo Li's eyes exploded with coldness, light and shadow teleported sideways for 0.001 seconds, and the goddess's ring injected soul power. Xiaobai, god of love, explodes and protects the ring. Xiaobai roared and shook the ground. Blue gold soul flames tornado swallowed the sky. Hundreds of shadow clones instantly killed the giant claws and blood mist exploded. The limbs of the frozen green crystal beast in the extreme ice fantasy realm cracked and shattered. The phantom tore claws and shadows counterattacked Ye Chen's epic robe and tore the blood bar madly 30% drop. Ding! Ye Chen's self-pet is severely damaged, the fusion of the heart of the pet soul is damaged, and the DPS is reduced by 350,000. Experience plus 15,000%. Ye Chen stared like a dead fish, his fists trembled and green blood dripped. The magic skill has no CD?
Impossible.
He retreated in embarrassment, the beast wailed and shrank back, and the corruption intelligence panel popped up. Sky Vault black gold money laundering was exposed, and the whole server was in an uproar. The 300 elites retreated with weak legs and screamed. Guild Master was severely injured? Xiaobai Baying can't be killed instantly. Our epic DPS set is useless. Su Nuan returned to the Shenhua network to assist in shooting. Phoenix Samsara fusion blasted 5 people with scorched corpses and smelly smoke in seconds. Sister, fight back. Buff Total, enjoy the explosion. Gu Han stood up, the frost sword buzzed, and the flames of war reignited in his eyes. Goddess of Wife. Luo Li's panel roared, and the unlimited fusion talent sublimation swallowed the Loot S-Axe plus epic set. DPS increased by 750,000, and all attributes were plus 8,500. Quickly remove the flames. Volcano Mountain. The first kill in the intermediate dungeon to get the buff. She used the teleportation method to move away. The ice flames of Xiaobai's fantasy realm intertwined with each other to block the fog. The golden light teleported and enveloped the entire team. Ye Chen roared and pursued unsuccessfully. Don't run away. Corrupt information? Countless black gold. 30 billion reward for the whole server to kill. The whole server announcement is dazzling. Ding! Luo Li severely injured Tianqiong Guild Ye Chen. The first kill to achieve the Green Crystal Behemoth Destroyer. Ranking preliminary. The 45th beloved Warlock DPS Queen is ready to reach the top. At the entrance of the Yanhua Mountains, the lava river is churning red in the middle of the night. The heat wave burns the skin like a fire whip. The smell of sulfur is choking the nose, and the distant volcanic crater is filled with magma spewing and roaring. The .80 intermediate boss Fire Demon King roars and looms on the left. The lava shield returns 100,000 blood per second, and the AoE rain of fire clangs to the ground. Luo Li's white gauze transformed shirt, the goddess's ring plus the wedding ring are golden and blue, and the 9 tails on Xiaobai's shoulders are swaying with soul flames to warm up. First kill in 3 levels. Experience buff stacked by 500%. But the entrance has been sealed and hundreds of people from the Dragon Soul Blood Alliance are blocking the disguise road. The aura of ridicule was overwhelming. Queen of Sanren? No matter how strong the wedding buff is, the Fire Demon AoE team will be a second team, and the DPS 300,000 epic will be crushed by us. Su Nuan Fink whined, training the new pet Fire Spirit Sparrow with weak wings. Sister new favorite LV.30 affinity loan transfer. Reincarnation blast to return CD. 100 people blocked the door. 30,000 DOT per second. Xian Yu's face was shaking wildly. Her legs were weak and red as she leaned against the lava wall. Information. Ye Chen's 300 troops will arrive in half an hour. The corruption of black gold has been exposed, but there are too many ghosts in the guild. It will take time for the alliance to expand, Brother Gu Han. Gu Han Shuang's Hua Jian Shuang Qi was stagnant, and his green veins were aching. My wife, I will pull the monsters, you are the DPS core. But the boss's fire rain breaks the shield. The oppression was like smoldering lava. The rain of fire smashed down the rotten flesh, and the blood bar dropped to the red alert. The passers-by stared and whispered. Luo Li level 45 is the intermediate level? In the sky, even with infinite buffs, I can't withstand Lin Chan. Luo Li's heart trembled, and he operated the ghostly light and shadow chain. Avoiding the rain, the talisman in the palm of his hand purifies the heat wave and evaporates. Xiaobai, open all the way. The pet god blasts the blue and gold tornado, and hundreds of shadows instantly kill 20 people blocking the door. Heads fly together in the blood mist mixed with the smell of lava, and the frozen river of fire in the extreme ice fantasy realm spreads for thousands of meters. Ding! Kill the Balrog outpost for the first time. After the test is plus 20,000%. The Dragon Soul member knelt on the lava and cried. God's blast penetrates the fire shield? Our 100,000 DPS set is in vain. Jealous of Luo Li's wedding ring transfer. Su Nuan's new favorite fire spirit bird uses the buff to fuse, and the reincarnation blast DPS increases to 250,000. Hua Wang assisted shooting. Sister is invincible. The training is successful, affinity plus 50%. The Guhan Alliance channel sounded, and dozens of masters rushed to help. The Frost Alliance is expanding, and the DPS is full. Luo Li's DPS was at full 800,000, teleporting and tearing apart the Balrog guard. Soul flame blasting and swallowing the boss's lava body. Ice flames interweaving and melting the magma and blasting. First kill. The system's golden light dazzled the whole server. Ding! Luo Li's first kill on the Flame Demon Mountain range, the Balrog Striker. The team's experience buff stack plus 15%. A total of 515%. The panel jumped wildly, Luo Li's LV. 55, the white gauze was flying in the heat wave and the operation was like a god. Xiaobai level 65. 100 shadows dance wildly to harvest the remaining enemies. A passerby player smashed the screen and crashed. Left. 45 first kill LV, 80 intermediate. Buff stack 515%. DPS queen reaches the top. We will delete the account of the individual. The Blood Alliance tank punched the ground and cracked. Guhan Alliance is quick. Su Nuan's 2 pets exploded 200,000, jealous and cried fainting. The towers of Central City stand tall. The auction house is brightly lit, and people are buzzing. The bidding for legendary items is about to begin. Xinyu's figure rushed out from the city gate, panting. Sister Li. Ye Chen's main force has infiltrated. I have inside information. The price of beloved souls starts at 1 billion gold. Top guilds are gathered. We join forces to sweep the whole server. Luo Li sneered and stood up. Xiaobai growled in warning. Guhan drew his sword and stood firm. Su Nuan wiped her tears and followed. A bigger stage unfolds with conspiracy auctions, legendary fusion stones, new enemy top guilds. The flames of war are burning towards the top of the server. In the hall of the Flame Demon King in the 3rd level, the magma sea boils and roars. The king's huge claws smash into the hall and the ears are deafening. The lava blasts 120,000 dok per second, and the heat wave burns and stings the bones. The intelligence of Ye Chen's pursuers flashed red. 300 main troops are halfway. Sneak attack on the wedding ring. Xinyu's legs went weak. Evidence of corruption has been sent to the entire server. The guild is in turmoil, but the pursuers are not abetted. Overwhelmed with despair, the king taunted the whole team to kneel down, and the blood bar was dangerously red. Luo Li held her wedding ring in her fist, and the shadow of her 3-year retirement flashed. Can't fall. He operated the 0.001 light and shadow teleportation palm talisman to purify and blast. The god-loving all-skill tree max soul flame tornado swallowed the king. Hundreds of shadows torn apart plus the extreme ice fantasy realm frozen sea. The fusion blast exploded for 3 consecutive rounds with 0 CD, and the magma evaporated and exploded into the sky. Ding! 3 first kills. The buff stack reaches 550%. Luo Li is LV 72 favorite warlock, first in the server. Xiaobai LV 75, DPS 900,000. The king destroyed the legendary fragments, and the system announcement shocked the entire server. Luo Li killed 3 times in a row, gained 550% experience buff, and dominates the rankings. A tsunami of comments from passers-by. DPS Queen LV 72, invincible engagement, Su Nuan double-favored training god. Guhan's alliance has exceeded 1,000, jealous to the point of vomiting blood. Su Nuan burst into tears and hugged. Sister has reached the top. New favorite Fire Sparrow Max. Guhan holding hands affectionately. My wife, the throne of God. Xinu said with a steady face and a trembling voice. Ye Chen's corruption was exposed, and the inner ghost rebelled. But intelligence showed that the truth about Luo Li's 3 years of retirement. Guhan's old enemy was involved in shady matters, and the subsequent plot of the mysterious invitation was triggered. In the night wind, among the embers of lava, 300 pursuers were approaching in green mist. The crisis was pressing again, and Luo Li was full of fighting spirit. Come and fight! Lava embers rolled like a pool of blood from hell, red heat waves licked the night sky. The stench of sulfur mixed with scorched corpses and carrion came to the nostrils. The elite green mist of the 300 sky domes in the distance approached like poisonous pythons. The green phosphorescent battle axe hummed and roared. The ground trembled and footsteps were like thousands of horses galloping, and the magma shell cracked and cracked under each step. Ye Chen's mirror image projected a hunter in a gold-trimmed robe. The green crystal behemoth roared and breathed on its shoulders. The mist corroded the air and sizzled. Dota suffered tens of thousands of injuries per second, and all the channels in the server were ridiculing. So what if Luo Li Elva 72 kills the intermediate level for the first time? The 300 epic DPS in the sky broke 2 million with a concentrated fire, and the buff 550% also kneeled down in a sea of people. The Sanren Queen's wedding venue escaped dog. 30 billion reward plus 50 billion. The little white god pet skinned and soul refined. The image of the passerby player collapsed and screamed. A newcomer from the Frost Alliance tank smashed the shield, and the shield twisted the metal and screamed, President! 300 green mist blocked, movement speed minus 80%. Our DPS can't hold it back. Luo Li's operation can't withstand Lin Zhan's DOT stack. The white gauze of Luo Li's shirt was stained with blood and fluttered. The golden light of the goddess's ring pulsed like a heartbeat. The nine-tailed soul flame on Xiaobai's shoulders was low. Warning for 1,000 meters. The red alarm on the panel flashed wildly. Ding! The main force of the sky is blocking the expansion. The escape path is 0%. The green mist DOT is 80,000 per second. All T mocking and suppressing. She clenched her fists, her knuckles turned as white as jade and cracked, and the shadow of 3 years of retirement rolled in her heart like lava. The mysterious invitation, the old enemy in the dark, and the dull pain of the recurrence of Gu Han's green veins. Everything should have been buried forever. Why were they rekindled tonight? A sea of 300 people came like a mountain. The blood bar was red and dazzling. Su Nuan's firebird shrank its wings and screamed. The double pet reincarnation CD was locked for 15 seconds. His face was pale and sweat rolled down his red skin. Sister. 300 pursuers, green crystal behemoth, AoE fog explosion, full picture. My 250,000, the DPS auxiliary shooting can't stand it. And the buff sharing plus 550% is about to evaporate. There are more than 500 million. There are traitors in the main force of 300, but their locations are unknown. Dragon Soul Blood Alliance reinforcements have arrived. The 3 branches of the guild stronghold have iron walls and copper walls. Epic guard level 140 plus forbidden traps. We retreat to the depths of the flames.
Guam Hans Goldras Kraka?
The scars expanded. Shuanghua Sword's frosty energy stagnated. Her knees were slightly bent, and the green veins ached like needles piercing her heart. My wife, there are 300 people in the sea. My 500,000 DPS is useless to pull monsters. It will take 10 minutes for the Frost Flower Alliance to break through the thousands of masters, and the amulet purifying green mist can't hold it in. Despair is like a sea of magma boiling to the top. Green mist seeps into the nose and stings like sulfur burning the lungs. Fire rain embers smash down the rotten flesh, and the blood bar drops like a red light and blinds the eyes. Luo Li's heart trembled, and her mind flashed back to her peak before retiring. The queen of all server DPS, invincible in favor of gods, but she disappeared because of that invitation letter. Gu Han's old enemy was involved in shady things, and she sacrificed the legend just to protect his life. Tonight, the wedding ring is exchanged for awakening, and the buffs are superimposed infinitely. How can she withdraw again? The psychological game is like the intersection of knives. If you retreat, you will survive and be hunted forever. If you attack, you will crush Ye Chen with 550% buff value, cutting off Ye Chen's retreat, but exposing the risk of retreating from the weak point, the hidden curse of the beloved soul. The left 0.72 upper limit has a dull pain, and the fingertips are trembling slightly, and the soul power is unstable. No. We can't run away anymore. Her eyes were filled with cold light. She used the ghostly light and shadow to teleport away from the green mist claw shadow, and injected the soul power from the goddess ring in her palm. Xiaobai, the fantasy realm is fully open for thousands of meters. Su Nuan, the double pet reincarnation transfer merges with my extreme ice, and controls the field of fire network to speed up. XINU, the coordinates of the black gold inner ghost private chat. Gu Han, pull Shuanghua forward and cut off. I will take the lead in counterattacking the 3 strongholds in the sky. After saying this, Xiaobai roared and shook the ground. The 9-tailed soul flame tornado swallowed the sky. The hundreds of shadow clones instantly killed the forward 20. The heads flew into the sky with the smell of lava. The frozen green mist of the extreme ice illusion spread for thousands of meters, and the DOT layer evaporated and exploded. Ding! The god of love explodes with 0 CD. Experience plus 25,000%. The elite members of Tianqiong retreated with weak legs and screamed like a wave of screams. God's realm penetrates the green mist? Our epic set's DPS set of 150,000 is in vain. Luo Li's 0.001 second teleport has no solution, and the jealous wedding ring buff is shared. Su Nuan came back to her senses with tears in her eyes. Fire net assisted shooting, and Fire Spirit Bird plus Phoenix reincarnation merged with the extreme ice blast. The DPS reached 300,000, intertwined with fire and ice, and locked 50 seconds, and the scorched corpse feathers were filled with smelly smoke. Sister resourceful counterattack. Double pets and max. Control the field movement speed minus 90%. Gu Hanshuang's sword buzzed, and the green vein purification talisman shone. Body the Alliance channel rang wildly. Frost Flower breaks 1000 DPS. The forward cuts off the rear. Xinu's panel was as stable as a rock, and his legs were weak and he trembled with ecstasy. The coordinates of the mole have arrived. The first stronghold, the Iron Blood Castle, has hundreds of guards on the left. 140 The Black Gold Storehouse contains forbidden items. The traitor has opened door. Luo Li's DPS soared to 900,000, with unlimited fusion talents devouring the epic set of loot plus Balrog fragments. All attributes plus 9,500. Golden light teleportation wrapped the entire team. The figure in the night wind swept out of the flame mountains like a ghost, and headed towards the Iron Blood Castle, the first branch of the sky. Outside the iron-blooded fortress, thunderclouds loomed high in the middle of the night. The epic crystal wall of the fortress shone with dim light. Hundreds of guard battle axes roared. The taunting aura overpowered the player. Movement speed was reduced by 70%. The forbidden props in the black vault loomed with pulsating red light. The air was as hot as a pool of blood. The traitor's ghost image trembled and opened the door. Queen Luo Li. I'll hand over all the black gold evidence, spare your life. The guard tank's eyes bulged out, and the shield cracked on the ground. Queen of the scattered DPS? The iron-blooded castle crystal wall regenerates 200,000 blood per second, and the 100-man group fire broke 3 million. No matter how high your buff is, you will hit the iron plate. Luo Li sneered in her heart, and the psychological game resumed. Fight quickly to cut off the retreat, and expose the weakness without delay. She operated the teleportation palm talisman to purify the crystal wall and evaporate. The little white pet god exploded the blue and gold tornado. The hundreds of shadows instantly killed the guard's head and the sea of blood rolled. The frozen castle in the extreme ice fantasy realm crackled and spread, and the soul flame tore through the door of the warehouse. Destroy. Gu Han sword energy ripped through the cover of hundreds of shadows, and the Frost Flower Alliance's forwards rushed in like a wave. The Wife Lord attacks. Xinu's red flash of intelligence destroyed the core. The source of the forbidden item exploded, and the summon CD of the monster was locked. The fortress collapsed with thunder, and the system's golden light was dazzling. Ding! Luo Li destroyed the Sky Iron Blood Castle, and the Black Vault exploded plus experience buff stacked by 20%, totaling 570%. In the second level of the Fire Spirit Lair, the flame spirits are swarming like a tide, and the hot wind is blowing with the smell of scorched corpses. The boss, the Flame Spirit Queen, is fanning fire with 80,000 AoE per second, and the taunt lock movement speed is reduced by 60%. The whole team's health bar was red and Su Nuan screamed, "Sister!" Mother Queen's critical hit, however, the AoE penetrated the lair in 0 seconds, and the flaming ashes flew into the blood sea. Ding! First kill 2. Buff stack 530%. Left point 62 exploded. Luo Li DPS/level double crown in the whole server ranking. Queen of the Goddess. 515% unlimited experience. First kill of the intermediate level. Our annual fee for the epic set is in vain. On the top of the Dragon Soul Tower, wind and thunder roared. The tower's blood-red scales pulsated. 200 elite staffs buzzed in green mist. OE fog exploded at 100,000 diota per second, and the magic crystal beast in the heart of the tower roared and breathed out rotting bones. The guard mage's robe sleeves were burnt and he stared. Second branch of Sky Vault? Luo Li's escape dog dares to counterattack. Dragon Soul Tower's scale armor reduces damage by 50%, and 200 green mist suppresses DPS. Even if you are level 75 novice, you will kneel down to defend the tower. Luo Li's mind was on fire. The second stronghold was broken quickly, forcing Ye Chen to jump over the wall, and it was worth sacrificing Novice's soul power. Her eyes were soft and full of fighting spirit. Xiaobai, the nine-tailed army, is fully activated. Fusion of Phoenix Bird Reincarnation, Pet Charge. Xiaobai's soul flames roared, and the 100 shadows cloned into the nine-tailed Phantom Fox Legion and danced for thousands of meters, instantly killing the base of the tower with blood mist and thunder. The Extreme Ice plus Fire Reincarnation Fusion 0 CD exploded for 3 rounds, and the tower body froze and melted with a click and collapsed. Ding! The Pet God Legion's DPS exceeded 1.5 million, and the dragon was defeated for the first time. Soul Tower. Su Nuan controlled the fire net and taunted Hui Fei. Sister Pet Group is invincible. The magic crystal in the tower's heart kills instantly. Gu Han pulled the strange sword energy guard and groaned in pain. My wife! I can resist it. The whole server barrage collapsed. Luo Li counterattacked the stronghold? The left .72 pet army instantly killed hundreds of epics. The DPS queen's numerical value was crushed, and our individual annual fee was deleted, and we cried out. The remnants of the sky vault fell to their knees and punched the fortress to crack. The crystal wall is useless? Engagement buff plus 570%. Jealous to the point of vomiting blood. Luo Li's blood bar was reddish, and her fingertips were trembling with the dull pain of the curse of retirement. She gritted her teeth and pressed down, teleporting to the second stronghold, Dragon Soul Tower. In the Blood Alliance Hall, the blood pool is boiling and hot, surrounded by 300 remnant soldiers. In the center of the hall, Ye Chen's golden eyes are blazing with poisonous fire, and the green crystal beast is roaring on his shoulders. The DPS has recovered to 250,000, but his robe is torn and he is embarrassed. Luo Li, do you dare to counterattack? I am so anxious that I jump over the wall and release my words. Release the Forbidden Warcraft army. The black financial stone in his palm exploded with red light, and the forbidden props summoned the ground to crack. Thousands of Warcraft's black shadows surged out like a tide. The minions tore through the air and screamed. The AoE rotten claws reached 150,000 DOT per second. The walls of the palace trembled and blood spattered. The Blood Alliance tank roared loudly. The leader's demon army is S+. Thousands of beasts are gathering fire to break through 5 million. Luo Li's buffs are stacked and they will feed the beasts. The whole team's health bar was red, and Su Nuan screamed and her pets shrank. Sister! Warcraft taunt plus DOT stack. My field control can't withstand it. Gu Han bent his knees with green veins exploding in pain, and the sword energy tore the 10 beasts into bloody pieces. My wife retreats, I will cover. Xianyu's panel trembled. The fusion stone of the Source Palace Heart, destruction requires close proximity. The white heat is like purgatory, the shadow of the magic beast's claws covers the sky, and the rotten smell hits his face. Luo Li's operation limit is 0.001. The light and shadow teleport flashes with 100 claws. The skin stings and the health bar drops by 20%. The peak of psychological game. Expose your weaknesses, don't avoid them. Sacrifice your soul power to win. Xiaobai Soul Flame Tree Max. Gu Han's sword energy brings revenge. Su Nuan's reincarnation speed control. Xianyu comes with me to burst the source. Xiaobai's nine-tailed army roared. The pet god exploded tornado and swallowed thousands of beasts. The sea of blood rolled. Hundreds of shadows tore, plus the frozen palace of the extreme ice fantasy realm clicked. The Fusion 0 CD exploded for 5 rounds, and the DPS soared 2 million. Ding! The pet god army severely damaged the monster. Experience plus 50000%. Gu Hanshuangwa's sword energy was like a dragon, and the green vein purification talisman flashed and splashed blood on the dress. Wife Lord God War. Su Nuan Huobing's network controlled DPS 450,000 beasts screamed and scorched the corpses in the smoke. Sister, hold on. Xianyu burst into tears and the red light collapsed. The source is destroyed. Ye Chen stared like a dead fish, his fists trembled and green blood dripped. Forbidden break?
Impossible.
The Warcraft palace collapsed, and the whole server's announcement was deafening. Ding! Luo Li teamed up to destroy the 3 strongholds in the sky. The buff stack reached 620%, and the whole server DPS/pet army double crown. Passers-by barraged. Tsunami. Counterattack the 3 strongholds? Queen left .75 narrowly defeated the demon army, with invincible numerical values. She was jealous of Gu Han's engagement with Su Nuan, so our epic guild deleted the files. The remaining soldiers of Tianqiong knelt down in the blood pool with weak legs and howled. The pet group has not been solved for thousands of miles? President Ye Chen jumped over the wall in vain. Luo Li used the flash god. Luo Li gasped for breath, her white gauze was torn apart, her soul power was exhausted, and the curse of retirement broke out. The goddess's ring dimmed, black lines on her fingertips loomed, and the panel warned, Ding! The curse of the beloved soul bites back, and the upper limit of continuous combat is LV, 80. Her heart was shaken, and the secret of 3 years was exposed. Gu Han held hands affectionately and wiped the blood. His eyes were slightly condensed, his palm touched the pulse of the wedding ring, and the afterimage of the invitation letter from the old enemy flashed in his mind. My wife, this black pattern, the truth about retreating from my green veins is related to my green veins? That letter. Luo Li's eyes dodged. In the night wind the smoke of the ruins was captured, and the 300 pursuers were getting closer and closer. The crisis was igniting again. Gu Han fight first. Secret. I'll tell you later. The fighting spirit boiled. The roar of the monsters echoed. Luo Li's operation became ghostly again, and the soul flame warmed up for a new round of massacre. The embers of the blood pool rolled like boiling soup in purgatory. The hot blood mist mixed with the rotten smell of scorched corpses hit your nostrils. The smoke and dust from the 3 ruins of the Iron Blood Castle, Dragon Soul Tower, and Blood Alliance Hall towered into the sky, and thunderclouds poured out like ink in the middle of the night. 300 Sky Dome remnants are approaching in disgrace. The epic green crystal battle axe buzzes and roars. The footsteps shake the ground and crack the ruins. The green mist poisonous python spirals and expands with every step. 120,000 layers of DOT are stacked per second, and the movement speed is taunted by -90%, locking the entire map. Ye Chen's mirrored golden robe hunt appeared in the center of the ruins. The green crystal beast roared on its shoulders and exhaled the rotten air. It merged with the heart of beloved soul S++ and pulsed with red light. The DPS recovery soared to 350,000. He was furious. Luo Li, you destroyed my 3 strongholds. The black gold exposed the inner ghost's rebellion. We have gathered the best of the whole server. Thousands of elites from the Dragon Soul Blood Alliance, 2,000 epics from the Frostblade Alliance, 500 sets of Shadow Assassins, and a total of 5,000 iron troops to encircle and suppress. The bounty is increased to 100 billion for Luo Li, 5 billion for Xiaobai, and 50 billion for Gu Han's husband, who will be skinned and refined and will never be reincarnated. The red tide of all channels collapsed, and the barrage was like a rain of blood. Tianqianglian all servers public yes? 5,000 LV. 140 plus epic DPS set hit 10 million. Luo Li's 620% buff also kneeled down in the crowd. The Sanren Queen got married and defeated Epiphyllum. And the account was deleted. Luo Li's white gauze was torn and stained with blood and fluttering. The ring of the goddess was dim and pulsed weakly. The black lines on her fingertips were as painful as needles burning the soul, and the red alarm on the panel flashed wildly. Ding! The backlash of the curse of the beloved soul is intensifying. The soul power is 30% left. The upper limit of continuous combat is LV. Su Nuan Huo Spirit Bird plus Phoenix Bird shrank their wings and whined. The CDs of the 2 pet reincarnations were locked for 20 seconds. The face was pale with sweat rolling down the red cheeks, and the voice was trembling like a candle. Sister. 5,000 Guild Iron Troops. Dragon Soul Blood League Tower Defense Disguised Remnant Party reorganized. Frostblade 2000 AoE Fog Explosion to suppress the field. My 450,000 DPS Fire and Ice Network can't be controlled, and 620% of the buff share is evaporating. XNU's gorgeous cloak was wet and stained with blood. The intelligence panel was shattered and humming after reloading. Her legs were weak and she was kneeling in the ruins, grabbing the dirt and trembling. Sisterly. All Server Alliance intelligence confirmed. Shadow Assassin invisibility penetration plus Blood Alliance monster summoning and resurrecting. Ye Chen's fusion stone source is cut off but the backup black vault is opened. 2000s level forbidden demon army. We are all wiped out? The blood crack in Gu Han's Xianjin dress expanded. The frost energy in Shuanghua sword condensed in the green veins in the knees, and the pain was like fire, and the frost pierced the heart. The striker is still on the way to breaking through 1000 DPS, and the mirror projection holds wife's bloody hand with severe pain in his eyes. My wife 5,000 iron army, my 500,000 DPS is useless to pull monsters. The green vein purification talisman cannot withstand the DOT stack. Your black pattern curse. Retreat first. I will never leave after I break it. Despair is like a sea of blood swallowing the sky. 5,000 iron army mirrors are like black clouds pressing down on the environment. Green fog and rotten claws cover the sky and the pungent smell is pungent. Thunder rumbles and war drums roar. The ground trembles and magma shells burst. Red light dazzles the eyes. The whole team's health bar is red and blinding. The taunting aura buzzes and the mind explodes. The Sanrin Queen is finished. All guilds in the server are crushed. The wedding ring buff is in vain. The tanks of the Dragon Soul Blood Alliance smashed the shield and roared loudly. Luo Li's 3 strongholds will win quickly? Our Qianjing's disguised tower defense reduces 15 million. The Frostblade Mage's sleeves hunted the green mist and breathed. 2000 A per second, the beloved god army kneels down. The Shadow Assassin's dagger flashed invisibly, and the fishy wind hit his face. Luo Lisin Lake is boiling, and the afterimage of the shady invitation to retire for 3 years flashes. The curse of the beloved soul of the old enemy is entangled in Gu Hanlu's veins. She sacrificed her peak guardian husband, and the risk is exposed tonight like a knife hanging from her neck. But how can she bend her knee despite the encirclement and suppression of 5,000 people? Psychological game of flames. If you persist, you will be pursued forever, and black gold will corrupt you endlessly. If you fight, your extreme buff skills will explode, and you will end Ye Chen's hegemony over the entire server. Don't retreat. Her eyes exploded with golden light, and the black lines on her fingertips suppressed the surge of soul power. She operated the ghost for 0.001 seconds to teleport and flash 100 rotten claws. The goddess's ring plus wedding ring in the palm of her hand pulsed with double gold into Xiaobai. Xiaobai, the whole tree of pet gods, is overloaded to max. Fusion of Su Nuan's double pet reincarnation plus Gu Hanshuangwa's sword energy plus Xian Yu's intelligence black gold source. The infinite devouring talent is activated, and the legion charge sweeps the entire server. The voice exploded. Xiaobai's roar shook the sky and the earth. The 9-tailed soul flame tornado swallowed the sky and the earth. The hundreds of shadow clones instantly transformed into thousands of shadows. The 9-tailed magic fox army danced 3,000 meters into the air. The pet god exploded and awakened with 0 CD blasting for 10 rounds. The blue and gold tornado sandwiched the extremely ice fantasy realm plus fire reincarnation, and merged with the fire and ice network. The DPS soared past 5 million golden lights. Ding! The beloved god legion is overloaded. The experience buff is infinitely superimposed by plus 30%. The total is 650%. The team's shared DPS is doubled, and all attributes are plus 15,000. The legion rushed out like a tsunami of white flames, instantly killing the 500 heads flying into the sky with blood mist, thunder and stench. The green mist evaporated, freezing and thawing, and the rotten claws scorched. The mountain of corpses collapsed. The camouflage tower defense of the Dragon Soul Blood Alliance's 1,000 spirits was shattered into pieces. The tank shield was twisted and metal screamed, and the legs were weak and bleeding. God! The penetration of the 9-tailed legion reduced the damage by 60%? Our epic DPS of 200,000 firepower was in vain. Luo Li's teleportation operation was incomprehensible, and the jealousy buff was 650% vomiting blood. The Frostblade Mage smashed his staff and screamed the robe was scorched. 2,000 fog bursts locked up? The beloved god's 0 CD exploded to 5 million DPS in a row. The Sanrin Queen's numerical value became a god. Our Dharma King deleted the file and cried out. The Shadow Assassin's stealth headshot caused plasma splashing and became invisible, and the dagger fell to the ground with a clang. Legion 1000 shadow detection plus extreme ice speed control minus 95%. Assassination is useless. Luo Li's DPS soared to 1.5 million at full power. Unlimited fusion devoured S-level battle axe plus epic set X20 plus Balrog fragments plus newly exploded Black Vault forbidden stones. All attributes plus 20,000 golden light wrapped ghosts teleported into Ye Chen's army, and the little white army's wings tore through thousands of beasts and the sea of blood was churning. Su Nuan came back to her senses with tears in her eyes. The double pet reincarnation transferred to the extreme ice and fire network, and the auxiliary shooting DPS increased by 800,000. The control lock taunted the remaining army. Howling and smelly smoke filled the air. Sister's magical skills are invincible. Affinity max plus 65%. The double pet fusion legion expanded, sweeping thousands of people. 00000 sword shadows covered his wife. Wife June's army is fighting. I will protect you forever. The Frost Flower Alliance forwards finally broke through 2,000 DPS and rushed in like a wave. After the interruption they roared. The leader of the alliance, Jun Wushuang. The alliance is expanding to the whole server. The 5,000 iron army collapsed and the tide receded. Ye Chen stared at the shoulders of the green crystal beast. The golden robe shattered and green blood spurted out. The S++ red light of the fused heart of the beloved soul failed to reverse the attack and screamed, "Impossible!" The 2000 S-level demon army focused on fire. Luo Li's soul power is depleted and cursed. How can the black pattern fight back? Luo Li operated the ultimate talisman in his palm to purify the green mist plus evaporate the crystal wall. He teleported close to him and exploded Ye Chen's green crystal behemoth's head with a single blow of the ring soul flame. The blood mist mixed with the stench of sulfur exploded. Ye Chen, the black gold is corrupted. The inner ghost rebelled. The 3 territories are completely destroyed, and the hegemony of the whole server is over.
Ye Chen holet miserable.
There is no blind spot. The DPS queen is crushed with 650% buff. Our Sky Guild crashes and deletes the server. The Dragon Soul Blood Alliance mage burst into tears. The Disguised Tower defense kneels down to kill. And the epic set explodes and our annual fee is in vain. The Frost Blade tank punched the ground and cracked. A sea of 5,000 people feeding the army? Jealous of Luo Li's wedding ring sharing plus Gu Hanshuangua plus Su Nuan's double pet, the Sanren Alliance worships. The whole server announced that the golden light was blinding like the sun exploding. Ding! Luo Li joined forces with the Frost Flower Alliance to counterattack 5,000 people in the whole server. The beloved God Legion swept through thousands of people and destroyed the entire chain of black gold corruption in the Sky Guild. Luo Li's full server DPS/beloved Legion level. First kill and 4 crowns dominate the rankings, and the reward of the Crown of Goddess ++ Legendary Crown has arrived. All attributes plus 30,000, the final form of the beloved God's awakening. The experience buff is permanently locked at 800%. The phantom of the crown falls on the white veil of Luo Li, the golden light pulses into the sky, the halo of the god's throne expands 10,000 meters to cover the entire server. The panel value of the god's DPS exceeds 8 million. All attributes are plus 50,000, and the black lines of the soul curse temporarily suppress the purifying buzz of the golden light. The little white 9-tailed legion gathered their soul flames and roared their loyalty, and the loot exploded. Fusion Stone Fragments X5 plus Sky Vault President Seal S level plus Epic Set X50 plus Black Gold Money Laundering Evidence 2.5 billion gold coins. The tsunami of barrage across the server exceeded 10 billion. Crown of Luo Li God? Counterattack and kill 5,000 Guild Iron troops. With a value of 800% buff invincibility. We the Independents will kneel down and sit down. Ye Chen's guild in the sky collapsed and disbanded. And all the inner ghosts surrendered. The passerby player's image collapsed and screamed, and a Frostblade newcomer smashed his staff with a weak leg. The Queen operates Flash God plus Legion 0 CD, jealous of the engagement buff to death. The smoke from the ruins dispersed and the blood pool solidified. Su Nuan burst into tears and hugged Luo Li's white gauze. The fiery red robe was soaked and stuck to her body. The fire sparrow screamed joyfully on its shoulders. Her voice was choked and her comrades burst out with emotion. Sister, the crown of the throne is a god. Your pet army sweeps across the server. My 2 pets are fused with auxiliary shooting DPS of 800,000 to assist the queen. It's great. Old friends will never be separated. Luo Li caressed Su Nuan's hair. Her soul power was slightly restored. Gu Han affectionately stepped forward. His gold dress was stained with blood. The frost sword returned to its sheath and the green veins calmed down. The wedding ring was pulsing. He took his wife Junyu's hand and wiped the blood and kissed his forehead. His eyes were as hot as flames. My wife is an unparalleled warrior. 5,000 people are encircled and suppressed, and the entire army is killed. You the curse of black lines. I have noticed the invitation to retire, the shady story of the old enemy, and the truth about the backlash of the beloved soul. No matter what the secret is, I, Gu Han, will always protect you from the throne of God. Luo Li's eyes dodge and the black lines are faintly visible 3 times. The pain of years of sacrifice surged like waves, but the warm golden light of the crown purified her soul. She whispered, "Husband, the secret will be revealed later, and all the servers will bow their heads tonight." In the distance, the remnants of the party fled in ashes in the sky, and the guilds of the entire server were discussing heatedly. The expansion of the Frost Flower Alliance exceeds 5,000 DPS and his full Luo Li's figure stands on the top of the ruins in the night wind. The golden light of the divine throne illuminates the new era. The soul flame warms up the warning. The retreat is shocking and dark. The invitation letter and the old enemy may be near. The fighting spirit is reignited. The thunder clouds disperse and the stars pour down. The starry river pours down like a silver waterfall and smashes down the charred shell surface of the blood pool. The crackling water vapor is mixed with the residual sulfur smell that hits your nose. The wind howls from the top of the ruins is harsh. The golden light of Luo Li's white gauze pulsates and the crown of the throne presses down. The soul power is slightly restored, but the black lines on the fingertips are faintly squirming like a living insect. The red alarm on the panel whispers, "Ding! The curse of the beloved soul has rekindled." The soul power is reduced to 25%. The upper limit of continuous combat is LV75, and the risk of black pattern spreading is 100%. Xiaobai Jiawei lowered his shoulders and the soul flames trembled in warning. The phantom of the 10,000 Shadows army was unstable, and the remnants of the 300 LV. The trail of green mist trailed the pungent smell, and the barrage on all channels in the distance was filled with red blood. The crown of the god of Luo Li exploded and killed 5,000 people? The black pattern curse revived and the soul power was exhausted. The Queen of Sanren appeared briefly, and the remnants of the 300 people escaped. Although the sky collapsed, Ye Chen's legacy will always be pursued. Deletion of the account. The Queen's wedding buff is in vain. The mirror image of the 2,000 DPS recruits of the Frost Alliance kneeled by the blood pool, their epic shields buzzing and their legs shaking. The leader of the alliance, the goddess wife, is fighting Wushuang. But the black pulsating golden light is dim, and it is useless for us to pull monsters. The remaining party's green mist DOT is chasing souls at 150,000 per second. Even if the alliance expands to 5,000, it can't stop the curse's backlash. Su Nuanhuo's red robe was sticky with tears and burned her face. The fire sparrow and the phoenix bird were shrieking and wailing. The reincarnation CD was locked. The double pet affinity plus 65% of the fire and ice network control failed. Her face turned pale and she grabbed Luo Li's white gauze sleeves. Her voice shook like a candle in the wind. "Sister, the god's crown has a DPS of 8 million to consecrate the gods. For crowns dominate the server. But the black pattern curse rekindled 25% of the soul power. The little white army drew silk. The 300 remnants of the party fled. The intelligence shows that they are ready. Restarting with black gold veins, our double pet DPS has 800,000 auxiliary shots in vain. Sister, you have retired from the shady scene for 3 years. Retreat first, I am heartbroken." Although it exploded, the S-level soul seal remained and the resurrection CD was 30 seconds. The 2.5 billion black gold laundering evidence was exposed. The guild was dissolved. Dao Jiao. Master wife. The aura of the throne of 10,000 meters conquered the entire server, and the 5,000 counterattacks destroyed all the black gold. After our Frost Flower Alliance broke through the 5,000 DPS, the source of the black pattern curse was discovered by the pulse of the wedding ring, and the old enemy's shady plot of the retirement invitation. You sacrificed your peak to protect my green veins? Heal your soul first and I, Gu Han, will never leave after being cut off. The remaining 300 people, my sword master, 1 million DPS plus 9-tailed shadow clone, are fearless in a duel. The black mist of despair surges like a tide. The cracks on the shell of the blood pool expand and the red light is dazzling. The mirror images of the 300 remnants go away. The green mist python curls its rotten claws and hums to taunt the whole picture. Luo Li's black pattern self-destructed? 25% of the queen's soul power kneels in DOT stacks. Our epic green crystal revenge sky is immortal. The whole server barrage collapses with a red tide. The epiphyllum of Sanren God's throne, the curse has no solution. The Frost Flower Alliance, kneel down and lick in vain. Luo Li's heart lake boiled like purgatory, and the wedding invitation from 3 years ago flashed in her mind. The old enemy, the king of beloved souls, plotted against Gu Han Green Vein. She sacrificed the body of the legendary Snowland Phantom Fox to fuse with the talisman to purify, hide the buff curse, and retreat for 3 years. She was exposed to risk tonight and her soul was shattered. However, when she knelt down, The black gold poison was endless, and the remnants of the party rekindled the catastrophe across the server. No, reveal it all tonight. Her eyes exploded with golden flames, and the black lines on her fingertips pressed against the 3 golden pulses of the goddess ring plus wedding ring plus god's crown. Her soul power surged. She controlled the ghost to teleport for 0.001 seconds to the edge of the blood pool. The soul talisman in the palm of her hand was upgraded to S-level purification and buzzed into Xiaobai. Husband Nuan, here, listen to the truth. Wedding 3 years ago, in order to save you Green Vein, I sacrificed the fusion talisman of the legendary snowy phantom fox, hiding the curse of my beloved soul, and retreating with black lines. The upper limit of my soul power is locked at level 78. The dark secrets of the old enemy of the invitation letter will be revealed. But now I have the throne crown plus 800% unlimited buff. Together we can lift the curse. Xiaobai is fully awakened, and the remnant party will be wiped out in the new era of the entire server. The words exploded like thunder. Guhan's pupils shrank, the black gold dress hunted, the frost sword fell to the ground and jingled. The green veins hurt like needles, his voice trembled, he felt guilty and burned his heart as he knelt down in the blood pool and burned his skin. My wife 3 years ago, the green veins backfired. I thought it was a natural disaster. You sacrificed your legendary pet body to protect me? I am ashamed of your throne. The wedding ring is pulsing and now it purifies the black lines. I, Shuanghua, are all attribute plus 5000 plus 9-tailed shadow clone fully activated. DPS doubled by 2 million, vowing to eliminate the curse. Su Nuan's fire red robe burst into flames. The fire spirit bird plus phoenix bird burst into reincarnation, and the ice and fire network was injected into Luo Li. The double pet and max plus 65% soul power assist shot DPS soared to 1.5 million, and she hugged Bai Sha with trembling ecstasy. Sister. Heartbroken and heartbroken. The 2 old friends reincarnated and merged with the god of Pet Tree, and the infinite buff stack of the black pattern was released. It was so exciting that it would never be separated. Crown purification is at the 3rd level, the probability of cursing is 100%. The coordinates of the remaining 300 nether fissures have been reached. The Magic Army's resurrection CD is locked. We work together to eliminate it. Xiaobai's 9-tailed soul flame tornado roared into the sky and shook the ruins, and the 3,000-meter-long shadow of the beloved god danced wildly in the blue-gold sea swallowing the sky. Fusion amulet plus double pet reincarnation plus frost sword energy plus intelligence black gold source. Ding. The beloved god awakens to his full form. The black pattern curse is purified and evaporated. The soul power is restored by 150%. DPS soars over 8 million. All attributes are plus 80,000. And the experience buff is permanently locked and 1000% shared with the whole team. The golden light exploded like the sun and blinded the blood pool for 10,000 meters. The DPS of Luo Li's black-gray flying soul and golden flames exceeded 12 million. The god's crown S++ crown's buzzing halo expanded to the top of the server. The panel value conferred the god and blinded the surroundings. Ding! Luo Li's beloved warlock is fully awakened. The 3 crowns of pet army /soul power /purification are crowned across the server, and the eternal soul source SS level is rewarded. The amulet has arrived, all attributes are plus 100,000, and the curse is permanently immune. The little white army teleported into the rift of the netherworld like a tsunami of white flames. The 9-tailed shadows ripped through the sky, the green mist evaporated, and there was a freezing and thawing explosion. The 300 remnants of the epic green crystal battle axe roared and their footsteps shook the ground. The tank shield twisted the metal and wailed, kneeling weakly on the edge of the crack, spouting green blood. God! The favored god army DPS 8000 CD explosions, are LV.140 epic DOT and 150,000 are in vain. Luo Li's black pattern is purified and awakened. Jealousy 1000% buff vomits blood and deletes the account. Shadow Assassin stealth headshot, plasma splashing, invisible invalid dagger fell to the ground. 10,000 shadows detection plus extreme ice speed, control minus 99%. Resurrection CD locked assassination is useless, Queen's full form sweeps. The disguised mage of the Dragon Soul Blood Alliance smashed his staff and screamed, and his robes were burned into green mist and flew away. The remaining 300 people are feeding the Legion? The Sanren Alliance is worshipping and crying. The Frostblade tank punched the ground and the blood pool expanded with red light. Gu Han feels guilty that the DPS of 2 million sword shadows plus Su Nuan's double pet 1.5 million fire and ice nets are all in vain. Luo Li used extreme light and shadow teleportation to burst into the middle of the rift. The goddess's ring soul flame exploded with one blow on the head of the remnant tank. Blood mist and sulfur stench exploded. The purifying green mist of the eternal soul source SS talisman in the palm of his hand completely evaporated. The tornado of the little white army swallowed up 200 instant kills. Ashes flew away and the scorched corpses collapsed. DPS 12 million golden light flooded the crack with thunder and roar. Su Nuanhuo's reincarnation auxiliary shooting lock taunted the remnant army, howling and smelling smoke. Sister is fully awakened with 12 million DPS. The double pet fusion army expanded 5 kilometers. Sweeping the remnant party is awesome. Gu Hanshuangwa's sword energy is like a dragon pulling 50 beasts, splattering blood on the dress, and the nine-tailed shadow clone possesses the sword shadow with 1,000 weight. My wife sacrificed the truth, I will always protect the throne, and the remnant party will be wiped out. Bow down. Xianyu sent a private message to Ye Chen about the S-level explosion coordinates of the soul mark. Sisterly, the soul mark is destroyed, the black gold poison is ended, and the sky is forever destroyed. The remnant party knelt down with blood and screamed. The myth of Luo Li retiring to save her husband? The guild disbanded the inner ghost and surrendered to the queen. The whole server announced the golden light tsunami and broke the screen. Ding! Luo Li confessed the truth about her retirement, counter-killed the 300 remnants of the sky, and wiped out the entire chain of black gold legacy. The god of love has fully awakened to dominate the 5-crown list in the whole server, and will be rewarded with the title of New Era of Fantasy, plus 50% experience in the whole server, and automatic plus 10,000 DPS for Alliance expansion. The Frostflower Alliance exceeded 10,000 DPS, and the barrage in the whole server collapsed. The complete form of Luo Li's throne? Retired? Hidden sacrifice to save her husband, black pattern purification. 12 million DPS plus 1000% buff. Everyone is worshipping. The sky will be destroyed forever. Who dares to challenge the competition? The passerby player's image kneeled down and screamed, and a newcomer Frostblade mage's leg was weak and she smashed her staff in tears. The queen uses the Flash God plus Legion for 5,000 meters without blind spots. The jealous engagement buff plus Gu Han Yonghu plus Su Nuan's double pet. The alliance is marching to the bottom. The smoke and dust from the cracks dispersed and reflected in the stars. Su Nuan burst into tears and hugged Luo Li again with her fiery red robe intertwined with golden light. The fire sparrow sang happily and roared in reincarnation. Sister, the truth is revealed, my old friend will always be with you. Gu Han affectionately stepped forward to sheath the frost flower sword. He held his wife's wedding ring and wiped his tears and kissed his lips. His eyes were filled with shame and love. My wife has sacrificed for 3 years, and I, Gu Han, I swear to report, the old enemy's shady secrets will be investigated together, and the new era of the whole server will be yours. Xianyu was ecstatically filled with information. Sisterly has obtained the intelligence network of the whole server, and the black gold evidence is worth 2.5 billion to transfer to the Alliance, and the Alliance is invincible. Luo Li's soul power is filled with eternal soul source pulses. Her eyes are soft with golden flames of war, and Xiaobai's 9 tails are gathered in loyalty. In the distance, all the guilds in the server are talking about worshipping, and the mirror images of Frost Alliance's troops kneel down and roar in the night sky, but the phantom of the system's golden book suddenly flashes over the blood pool. Ding! The invitation letter for the all-server competition has arrived. The pinnacle competition of the fantasy era, Luo Li God Seat vs the top of all servers, and the reward is the SS++ Soul King's body. Is the dark side of the old enemy revealed? Luo Li's heart lake is slightly condensed, the soul flames are warming up, and the golden light is rising to the sky to start a new era. The stars are like broken diamonds scattered on the ruins of the blood pool. The smoke slowly drifts away with the pungent aftertaste mixed with coke and sulfur. The night wind blows through the hem of Luo Li's white gauze skirt, and the golden light pulsates. The eternal soul source SS amulet is embedded in the fingers, as warm as jade, full of soul power. Overflowing, the green light on the panel flashed and whispered, "Ding!" The entire chain of black gold poison has been eliminated, and the rewards for successful S-level fusion of the Sky President's seal. The God's Crown S++ sublimation, all attributes plus 20,000, and the experience buff is permanently locked to 1000% shared by the whole team. The little white ninetail curled around Luo Li's shoulders, the blue and gold soul flames whispered like a whisper, the 5,000-meter shadow of the beloved God army slowly closed in, the remaining green mist disappeared among the thousands of shadows, and the air was filled with freshness. The smell of starlight replaced the rancid smell, and the mirror images of the armies of the Frost Alliance in the distance all knelt down to worship. The roar of the DPS reaching over 10,000 shook the night sky like a thunder drum. Luo Li God's throne. The beloved God is fully awakened and sweeps across the sky, and a new era of fantasy world will be passed on forever. Su Nuan's red robe was brilliant with gold edges, her cheeks were rosy and hot after the tears dried up, the fire sparrow and the phoenix flew low and circled in joy, the double pets and max plus 65% soul power auxiliary shot were injected into Luo Li. The panel DPS soared to 1.5 million green light burst. She rushed forward and hugged the white gauze, trembling with ecstasy like a girl for the first time. "Sister!" The truth behind the retreat is revealed. The black lines purify and evaporate the soul power 150% overflow, double pet reincarnation fusion army expansion. My DPS of 1.5 million auxiliary shots is in vain? The buffs on the whole team are 1000% superimposed. The heartbeat is accelerated, and the old friend will always follow the throne to sweep the whole server. The breath of the fire and ice net in the embrace was warm and cool. Luo Li gently caressed her back. Her eyes were soft and golden flames were shining, and the corners of her lips were slightly raised to create a warm current in her heart. The bloodstains on Gu Hanxuan's gold dress dried. The frost sword returned to its sheath and buzzed. Frost beads rolled down. He stepped forward to hold his wife Junyu's hand affectionately. The wedding ring gold vein interactive soul power sharing plus 500%. The nine-tailed shadow clone lightly attached to the sword and the 1,000 shadows dispersed. The green my pulse is dull and aching, my eyes are hot and shameful, and my love blends like lava. My wife, you have sacrificed for 3 years to protect my green veins. The God's Crown has a DPS of 12 million, which is the highest in the entire server. Our Frost Flower Alliance has exceeded 10,000 DPS and will protect me forever. Tan, the engagement buff is unlimited, and we will never leave you for the rest of our lives. Kissing lips softly, the two figures overlapped in the starlight and glowed with golden light. The surrounding allied recruits stared with wide eyes and knelt down with weak legs, and a LV.120 Frost Blade tank mirror smashed the shield. Breathing and trembling. All attributes of the Alliance leader Tsumabuki's wedding ring interaction plus 5,000 superimposed God's throne buff? DPS 2 million sword masters plus 8 million favored God army. We have broken the Alliance to worship with jealousy, and Tuxiazeo marches. Xinu's gorgeous cloak shook off bloodstains, and the intelligence panel was full of gold and buzzing continuously. Black gold money laundering evidence of 2.5 billion gold coins was transferred to Shuanghua Alliance treasury and buzzed into her account. Her legs bounced up and she was ecstatically chatting with coordinates. Sisterly. Skyvault, the inner ghosts all surrendered. The epic set X50 plus fusion stone fragments X5 plus the president's seal was all S-level. The whole server intelligence network control disk. The black gold legacy ended the 2.5 billion gold transfer alliance expansion. It was so exciting that Ye Chen's soul seal was destroyed at S-level. The remaining 300 men were wiped out, and the intelligence confirmed that all the guilds in the server were enthusiastically worshipping. She scanned the fragments of the invitation with her fingers flying, and the shadow of the golden book hovered above the blood pool. Thousands of passers-by players gathered to watch, and a new mage LV. Luo Li's lake is as calm as a mirror. The soul flame preheats and the golden light reaches the sky. Operate the ghost and tap the panel. The Eternal Soul Source SS amulet purifies the remaining breath of the green veins and sweeps away the remaining breath. All attributes plus 100000 plus panel value. The god flashes and blinds the night sky. Ding! Illusion World. The title of the new era is activated. The experience of the whole server is plus 50% permanently. The final form of the god-loving warlock is unlocked. and the upper limit of LV.78 is unlocked, and the first kill achieves 5 crowns. The barrage and the whole server collapsed, and the blood-red taunt instantly turned to worship and swiped. Luo, the myth of Li retreating to save her husband is revealed? 12 million DPS plus 8 million pet army and 0 CD, 1000% of the buff is invincible to the whole team. The sky is forever destroyed by black gold, and the whole server kneels down to lick the queen of the new era. The guild is hotly debated like a volcano. The broken image of the Dragon Soul Blood Alliance self-destructed, and its account was deleted. Passers-by of the Frost Blade tank collapsed in tears and knelt down in the ruins. The Sanrin Alliance worships. The God's Throne operates 0.001 second teleport, plus the Legion is 5,000 meters away. Our epic set X70 is in vain, and the jealous wedding buff is crying and fainting. The smoke and dust dissipated, the shell of the blood pool crackled and healed, and the red glow restrained. Luo Li led his team to move to the main city of the Frostflower Alliance. The huge door under the galaxy buzzed open and thousands of troops cheered loudly. The aroma of victory wine and the heat of barbecue wafted in the air. The recruits' DPS lined up to salute with full mirrors. Su Nuan pulled Luo Li into the training ground, and the fire-red robe hunting double pet Samsara screamed, "Sister!" The invitation for the full server competition is activated, the national war mode is turned on, and the preliminaries against the Foreign Server Alliance tonight are Nuanuan's training tactics, the double pet fire and ice network plus the Reincarnation Fusion Legion expansion. The DPS of 1.5 million auxiliary shooting locks to taunt without dead ends. She quickly summoned the Fire Sparrow plus Phoenix Sparrow. Extremely, the ice and fire network covered the sky and the training target beasts flew into ashes. The heat wave hit the face with the crackling sound of ice crystals. A team of new mages stared and felt weak in the legs. Su Nuan, pet controller, dual pets, max affinity plus 65%? The Reincarnation CD has 1.5 million DPS in 0 seconds, and the buff of the old friend of the God Seed is shared 1000%. Our DPS is 200,000 and we kneel down and explode. We worship the training soil. Gu Han's black gold dress stood straight in front of the command podium. The Shuanghua sword waved lightly with thousands of sword shadows to train thousands of troops. The wedding ring pulsated and the nine-tailed shadow clone possessed DPS doubled by 2 million. The green veins were purified and painless, and his voice was as deep as a mountain. My wife is leading the throne. The preliminaries of the national war in the whole server competition. 100,000 DPS from the foreign service. Alliance force pressed into the realm. I Shuanghua took command after breaking through 10,000 breaks. The buff increased to 1000% and the entire team was swept across the border invincibly. Mirrors of all the armies roared together. Frost air condensed in the sky, swords screamed, gold and iron clashed, and recruits' tanks and shields buzzed and their legs trembled. Alliance leader Sword Master. DPS 2 million plus shadow clone thousands? 95% of the engagement buff depends on the God's Throne. Our epic shield DOT immunity plus all attributes plus 5,000 jealous command worships. Xianyu's gorgeous cloak fluttered on the top of the intelligence tower, and the panel flashed red and green. All coordinates of the coalition forces were scanned. Sister Li. Invincible intelligence, 50,000 main force of Dragon Cavalry Legion level 160 in the external server epic set. Coordinates of the preliminaries map Shadow Continent are locked. The Black Gold Ghost surrenders to expose weaknesses. Sneak attack probability is 0%. Full server intelligence network control competition. The system Golden Book exploded and the whole server announced with thunder. Ding! The Fantasy Era Peak Tournament National War Mode is on. Luo Li leads the Frostflower Alliance vs Foreign Server Alliance. The preliminaries start immediately, and the reward is SS++ Soul King's Body plus Server Dominance, main title. In the blink of an eye, the sea of fog in the Shadow Continent is churning with a biting wind. Luo Li's white gauze is pressed to the ground with golden light. The little white nine-tailed soul flame tornado soars into the sky, and the 5-kilometer sea of blue golden light swallows the sky, and the DPS 12 million golden flame pulsates the goddess. Ring plus wedding ring plus God's crown triple buzzing. Foreign server Dragon Cavalry forward 1 chi mirror image rush towards LV. 160 Dragon Spear green light DOT 300,000 per second. Hoofbeats earthquake. Mist steaming roar shook the eardrums. Huafu Sanrin Luo Li? Pet God Legion with a DPS of 8 million at 5,000 meters. Our Dragon Cavalry DOT is invincible with the epic set. And the first kill in the preliminaries is to delete the account. The barrage of foreign server red tide. God's epiphyllum? The buff is 1000% in vain. The coalition forces are overwhelming. Luo Li's eyes were ice blasted, and he used the ghost to teleport for 0.001 seconds to burst into the Chinese army. The SS talisman of eternal soul source in the palm of his hand, the purifying dragon gun, evaporated, and the green light evaporated with a crisp explosion. Su Nuan's reincarnation auxiliary shot lock, the fire and ice network in the back row exploded and burned the sky. Sister's Pet God swept the DPS with 12 million. The double pet reincarnation army expanded by 10,000 meters. And the preliminaries were exciting. Gu Hanshuang's sword energy was like a dragon, Luo's riding dress was splashed with blood. The Shadow Clone's DPS reached 2 million after being cut off at 1,000 weights. My command is flawless in the God of Wife War, and 100,000 allied troops will kneel down in the preliminaries of the national war. Instant kill. The foreign tank Dragon Rider knelt down and smashed the gun in the fog, spraying green blood wildly. God! Luo Li's operation of Flash God plus Legion has no dead ends. DPS is 12 million plus purification immunity. Our LV, 160 epic DOT is 300,000 in vain. Jealousy buff 1000% vomits blood and deletes the account. The mage passerby screamed and the dragon burning gun landed. Shuanghua Alliance has exceeded 10,000 DPS and Su Nuan has 1.5 million fire nets. Our coalition forces feed the corpse mountain in the preliminaries, worship the emperor. The first round of the preliminaries was swept, and 100,000 foreign server alliance troops evaporated into a sea of fog. The whole server announced a golden tsunami. Ding! Luo Li's beloved god army killed 100,000 foreign server dragon knights for the first time. S++ was perfect in the national war preliminaries. The reward experience buff was superimposed plus 200%. And the whole team's level was plus 10. The barrage collapsed and reached tens of billions. Luo Li's throne is invincible in the national war? DPS 12 million plus Legion 8 million 0 CD. Buff 1200% shared by the whole server worshipped. After 3 consecutive rounds, Luo Li led the team to reach the peak of numerical control. Su Nuan's tactical reincarnation controlled the field without leakage. Gu Han's command cut off the iron wall. Xianyu's intelligence predicted the sneak attack. And the stars of the Shadow Continent camp were swaying on the eve of the final. The team sat around and the aroma of roasted dragon meat was fragrant. And the warmth of achievement overflowed. Suddenly, Xianyu's panel exploded red and the alarm buzzed piercingly. And thousands of shadows appeared in the Foreign Server Alliance finals, pretending to be Ye Chen's remnant soul S-level green light pulsing and roaring. Luo Li. The Black Gold legacy has not been exhausted. I will join the Foreign Server for a sneak attack, and the body of the beloved Soul King will make a blood sacrifice tonight. The green fog python in the sea of fog buzzed with rotten claws. On the eve of the finals there was a counterattack, and the whole team's eyes were solemn to warm up the soul flame. Luo Li stood up, her white gauze hunting golden light soaring into the sky. The little white nine-tailed roaring army started again. Her heart boiled with fighting spirit. Come on the final battle, who will win or lose? The sea of fog rolled like the roar of a giant beast. The fishy wind mixed with rotten algae and poisonous green mist hit the nostrils. The spark of the camp on the eve of the finals was instantly engulfed by thousands of green lights. The S-level green veins of Ye Chen's remnant soul twisted and emerged. The mirror image of Dragon Cavalry King LV.170 in disguise appeared. 500,000 stacks per second were like a python twisting. The sound of hoofbeats, earthquakes, and low roars in the steaming fog were deafening. Luo Li, retired for 3 years with green veins and committed suicide to save her husband? The poison of black gold will last forever. We will join forces with the SS++ body of the King of Blood Sacrifice and Pet Soul King of the Foreign Server, with a DPS of 15 million dragon souls, and you will get a buff of 120% is in vain. The God's throne is extinct now. The green robes of the Foreign Service Dharma King fluttered in the back row. The Soul Seal S++ exploded with green flames, locking the whole team with 800,000 rotten blood spurting out per second. The tanks and dragon cavalry shields hummed with green veins spreading. and the new recruits of the Frost Flower Alliance broke through 10,000 DPS. The mirror image's legs were weak and the shields were broken and the blood mist was filled with the smell of burnt meat. LV. 130 swordsman smashed his sword and gasped. Ye Chen's remnant soul S level plus foreign server King Wanchi 500,000 of overlay? We have all attributes plus 5,000 plus buff 1,200% green blood. And burn 800,000 DOT. The DPS is full for nothing. On the eve of the finals we will all be wiped out. Su Nuanhuo's red-robed hunting pet's reincarnation summons was blocked. The fire sparrow plus phoenix wing flames fell to the ground with a shrill scream of green rot. The DPS 1.5 million auxiliary shots evaporated. Her face turned pale and tears flashed. She operated the rapid ice and fire net to test the ashes. The heat wave and ice crystals shattered and made a crisp sound, but it was ineffective. She trembled and roared. Sister! Ye Chen's Green Vein Legacy Poison Resurrection and foreign servers teamed up to lock down 800,000 soul-burning DOTs. My DPS was 1.5 million, and I was feeding corpses in the finals of the national war. After Gu Hanchuan's gold dress was stained with blood and frost, his sword energy was cut off, and his shadow clone possessed 2 million green rots and swallowed the sword. He was protecting his wife. The eyes in front of you are burning with pain and guilt, and you roar in a low voice. My wife? I can't protect the black gold shady curtain. After the dragon sold of 500,000 was crushed, the wedding ring buff 500% of the green veins backfired, and the frost broke through 10,000, and I knelt down helpless. Her fingers trembled and the weak point scan failed. Jean Man collapsed under heavy load. Her legs were weak and she screamed, Sisterly! The crystal core of the king of the intelligence network in the foreign server hides the S++ green shield. Ye Chen's remnant soul blood sacrifice pretends to be DOT unsolvable. The black gold 2.5 billion legacy poison counterattacks the whole server's intelligence blindness, the final blood sacrifice to us. The barrage of all server channels was worth tens of billions in red and black, and there was a flood of ridicule. Luo Li God's throne overturned? Ye Chen's remnant soul S level plus foreign server king DPS 15,100,000 top. Buff 1,200% green rot kneeling. National War Preliminaries S++ retired in vain. The truth is laughing die. The foreign server dragon cavalry forward roared and stepped on the bloody mud. The green spear pierced the corpse mountain of new soldiers and steamed with blood. A foreign server tank smashed the shield and laughed wildly, green blood spurting out of his face. The Chinese server's individual favorite god army is 5,000 meters away, and the Green Vein DOT has 0 CD. The epic set plus the king's crystal core is invincible, and the first kill is to delete the account and worship it all over the server. Luo Li's white gauze has a dim golden light, the nine-tailed soul flame is green and she curls up her shoulders, the green veins of the eternal soul source S amulet backfire and the pain is like fire, and her heart is filled with despair, and the ghost is slightly stagnant. The panel was dazzling with green light. All attributes plus 120000 plus values flashed and then extinguished. The black gold poison will eventually be destroyed by myself. The green python in the sea of fog grabbed the sky with its rotten claws humming. The team's soul power was exhausted and they knelt beside the blood pool. The air was as rotten as a tomb, and the stars were extinguished and the night sky was dead. In an instant, Luo Li's eyes burst with ice and golden flames shot up to the sky, and the white gauze hunter's soul power was 150% full and reversed. He operated the light and shadow teleport for 0.001 seconds, and the eternal soul source SS amulet in his palm purified the green light. It evaporated and exploded like thunder. The goddess's ring plus wedding ring plus god's crown S++ triple buzzing golden veins interactive full attributes plus 120000 plus conferred god flash blinded the sea of fog. Ding! Pampering god warlock the final form is unlocked at the limit of LV.88. With the divine skill soul flame tribulation fully activated, the DPS surges to 30 million plus the favored god's legion, and the 10,000 meter sea of blue and golden light destroys the world. The white nine-tailed roar of the soul flame tornado tears through the 5,000 meter legion, expands the 10,000 shadows, and merges with 0 CD, and the blue and gold flame sea swallows the green mist, the thunder roars, the dragon knight's head, the blood mist, the dragon's bloody stench, instantly kills 10,000 knights, the mountain of corpses, the blood river, and the heat wave hits the face. The black armored mirror image of the king of foreign servers stared with wide eyes. The green-blooded spray gun smashed to the ground and his legs were weak. He knelt down and said, God. Luo Li operated Flash God plus Legion 10,000 meters DPS. 8 million 0 CD purification green DOT evaporated. RLV. 170 crystal core S++ it's no use. Jealousy buff 1200% vomits blood and deletes the account. The mage's back row robes burned with green flames and screamed. The soul seal collapsed. The golden light of the beloved god's calamity flooded the sea of fog. And our 800,000 set exploded on our knees, worshipping the soil. Su Nuan burst into tears and was ecstatic. The fiery red robe was hot. The two pets reincarnated and resurrected. The DPS soared to 5 million. The extreme ice and fire network assisted shooting and locked the back row. The heat wave burned the sky. The ice crystals shattered and flew into pieces. PS 5 million assists shot Ye Chen's remnant soul with green veins and no blind spots. The national war final was heart-pounding. She embraced Luo Li, and the breath of fire and ice blended with the warmth and coolness, and the panel's green light flashed buff 1200%, which was full of soul power for the whole team. Gu Hanshuang's sword energy is like a dragon. Thousands of heavy pulls. The dress is splattered with blood. The Shadow Clone's DPS is doubled to 8 million. Breaking the iron wall. The golden veins of the wedding ring are pulsating. The nine-tailed possessed eyes are lava boiling. My wife's soul flame heavenly tribulation has a DPS of 30 million. My sword master's command is flawless. The shady plot will destroy the engagement forever. Frost Flower Alliance breaks through 10,000. The mirror DPS roared at full speed. Frost condensed in the sky, swords rang, gold and iron clashed, and the new recruits' tanks and shields buzzed and their legs trembled in ecstasy. The leader of the alliance, the wife, is dependent on the divine throne buff. The divine skill legion is 10,000 meters plus the wedding ring has 5,000 attributes. Our epic shield Doti immunity plus all attributes plus 10,000. The jealous commander worships you. Xianyu's gorgeous cloak shakes off the green rotten panel. The gold is full. The foreign server's weaknesses are fully exposed. And the red flash private chat is crazy. Sisterly. Ye Chen's remnant soul S-class crystal core destruction rate is 100%. The intelligence pinpoints the source of the black gold legacy and evaporates. 2.5 billion gold transfer alliance plus foreign server king coordinates total destruction. The server-wide intelligence network control competition is invincible. Her fingers were flying. And the golden book suspended in the sea of mist was pulsating. Thousands of passers-by and players gathered to watch. The new mage LV 90 smashed the sleeves of his staff and blackened his robes and screamed. Intelligence Queen Jean Man plus Luo Li God's throne. Heavenly tribulation DPS 30 million? The main body of the spoiled soul king of SS++ is blinded. And the jealous 1200% buff is eliminated. Ye Chen's remnant soul, the green light, twisted and roared in the blood sacrifice. And the S-level soul-marked green python was finally strangled. And the rotten claw captured DOT. The peak value of 1 million overwhelmed Luo Li's white yarn. But Luo Li's ghostly teleportation palm purified golden light, exploded with green veins, clicked, and evaporated the soul flame. The calamity struck directly at the core. The remaining souls howled and flew into smoke, and the whole chain of black gold poison was ended. The fresh starlight in the sea of mist replaced the rancid blood river and dried up the shell surface. The system's golden book exploded on the screen and the whole server announced with thunder. Ding! The god of Luo Li's soul flame heavenly tribulation kills Ye Chen's remnant soul for the first time at S-level plus foreign server King Wanqi. The SS++ of the national war final is perfect. The reward is the Soul King's main body SS++ fusion, plus the title of Overlord of the whole server. The number is activated, and the team's LV plus 20 plus experience buff is permanently 1500%. The barrage of tens of billions of gold collapsed, and people worshipped wildly. Luo Li retired to save her husband and became a mythical god. DPS 30 million plus pampering legions with 0 CD net. Turn into black gold and be destroyed forever. Buff 1500% shared and invincible across the server. The Queen of National War will be passed down forever. The remnant dragon cavalry in the foreign server exploded and deleted its account. The guild collapsed and Shuanghua's recruits burst into tears and knelt in the ruins with a roar that shook the night sky. God's Throne Operation 0.001 seconds plus Heavenly Tribulation destroys the sky. Our epic set X100 is in vain. The jealous marriage buff is crying and worshipping. Guilds in the whole server are hotly discussing the volcano explosion. The Dragon Soul Blood Alliance's iron-blooded battle is wiped out, and the intelligence confirms that the legend of Luo Li dominates the list with 5 crowns plus the first kill in the national war. The smoke and dust are gone. The Shadow Continent is scattered across the stars. Luo Li Xian Lake is calm and the golden light is restrained. The little white nine tails curl lightly around the shoulders. The blue and gold soul flames are humming softly. The panel value of the god is DPS 30 million plus all attributes plus 150,000 plus the body of the beloved Soul King SS plus fusion combined with the nine-tailed magical skill to transfer 100% of the pulse of the wedding ring. She caressed Gu Han's hand on. The wedding ring and the gold veins shared the soul power and warmed her heart. Husband retired for 3 years and the green veins sacrificed to protect you. Now the black gold is destroyed forever. The throne of God is restored. And the engagement will always be with us to explore the fantasy world. Gu Han affectionately the frosty sword on the kissing lips buzzed as it returned to its sheath. The soft waves in the eyes blended with the shameful love, and the stars in the black gold dress reflected. My wife is a catastrophe with magical skills and I, Shuanghua, will forever be with you. The overlords in the national war will share the glory. In the new era, the husband will sing and the wife will follow you. The two figures overlap and shine with golden light, and all the troops around them kneel and worship. DPS was full of roars like thunder drums, and a LV 150 tank smashed into the shield and weakened the legs. Alliance leader wife June's wedding ring interaction 1500% light yellow? DPS 8 million sword master plus God's throne 30 million. We are jealous of the alliance of more than 10,000 people, and Tuxayaza is marching. Su Nuan Huo's red robe with golden edges and brilliant tears. Peach red hugs Luo Li Hua Bingwang's breath. Sister. The truth behind her retirement has been revealed and she has become a god. She has 2 pets, reincarnation, DPS and 5 million auxiliary shots. They will always be with her. The National War S++ is perfect and the old friendship is deep and refreshing. Sisterly. The server-wide intelligence network plus 2.5 billion treasury has been expanded. The black gold end SS++ body has been obtained. The golden book of invitations to the server-wide competition is pulsing. And the queen of the new era's intelligence is invincible. The team sat around and the aroma of roasted dragon meat was fragrant and the steam was steaming. The aroma of victory wine was mixed with the freshness of the stars, and the warmth of achievement filled their hearts. Luo Li stood up. Her white gauze raised her golden light to the sky, and she tapped the panel to activate the new era of illusion. The title of the new era of fantasy world has 100% permanent activation experience in all servers. Ding! The legend of Luo Li will be passed down forever, and players will create the future together. The era of illusion world and the throne of God has begun. The tower ruins were filled with smoke and dust, and the whole server was talking about breaking 4 billion. Luo Li broke 2 strongholds in a row? 570% buff favored the army to charge. The epic tower defense is as paper. We worship Tuxiazuo. The anti-mage smashed the screen and screamed. The 9-tailed army penetrated the scale armor? The DPS queen operation god. Jealous of the transfer of the wedding ring and cried to death. Luo Li sprinted at LV. All the mirrors in the server and all the military mirrors knelt down and worshipped, and the barrage flooded the sea of gold forever. The throne of Luo Li swept across the national war and the black gold will be destroyed forever. DPS 30 million plus legion 10,000 meter buff 1500% invincible. The queen of the new era will be worshipped forever. The huge gate of Shuanghua's main city buzzed open, and thousands of troops under the galaxy cheered loudly. Luo Li led the team to move, and the phantoms of the legions of favored gods danced lightly in the sea of blue and golden light. The game world pulsed with new life, and players talked about creating a future together. Legends like the galaxy will never fall.